They play twice a year for some time, but no home team has won in this matchup since 2022. Fresh off a sweep of Oklahoma, Texas looks to end their 4-game home losing streak to Texas State tonight here in Austin. Welcome to Disch Falk Field alongside Ty Harrington. I'm David Salzman. You played here and you were the longtime head coach at Texas State. Just how big of a game is this matchup?
It's turned out to be a great series and a traditional midweek series that started way back, probably 25 years ago, and it just continued on. It's a lot of fun for both teams.
Mentioned the sweep of Oklahoma for Texas. Casey Borba, a huge reason why. 5 hits, 7 runs batted in the 3 games.
Well, Casey Borba has had quite the year in the beginning of it with his power numbers showing and his RBIs as well. Has really long at-bats, has brought the whole field into play as well as an offensive hitter for Texas.
That just continues Borba's power in SEC play. He has the most home runs of any player in the league with 4, second highest slugging percentage, just over 700.
Yeah, I mean, look, you look at the numbers with that slugging percentage and what that represents, particularly in the SEC.
Texas State also red hot. Winners of 7 straight, and Ty the Bats are the biggest reason why.
Yeah, they've been on fire over the last probably week and a half. I mean, their offense took off in the Louisiana series. One of the games putting in 8 home runs in one single game, and then let that travel all the way with them to Georgia State, where they did it again with 8 homers in a single game.
And they had 11 home runs overall in the 3-game sweep in Atlanta. Huge reason why the man batting second on your screen, Rashawn Galloway, on a 20-game hit streak, 40 hits in those 20 games, batting .476.
Rashawn Galloway is an incredibly tough out for any pitcher. He brings the whole field into play and loves to drive the ball gap to gap.
Former Longhorn Jaquay Stewart bats 5th for Texas State, and Max Grubbs gets his first start of the season. Although it won't be a long start, he's been coming out of the bullpen now the last 2 years. He's 2-0 this season with an ERA of just over 4.
Now, a lot of sinker sliders, an occasional splitter change, but when he's good, he's efficient with his pitching. He likes to try to create contact early in the pitch sequence.
Grubbs did not pitch in the Oklahoma series. His last outing was a week ago at Houston, and he faces the Texas State center fielder Jackson Cotton. An 0-1 count for the freshman from Missouri City, Texas. He is tied for the team lead with 9 home runs as a freshman, also a team high 21 walks.
When you're sitting in the leadoff spot and you're able to produce that kind of power and then pass the bat to the middle part of your lineup is an advantage.
And a change defensively for Texas here today. Of course, Adrian Rodriguez is week to week with a hand injury. Casey Borba plays at third base for the Longhorns. Josh Livingston at first, Tema Becerra at short. Ethan Mendoza is the only infielder not to change positions. He finds Livingston for out number 1.
Casey Borba, when he moved over from first to third base, that's a natural position for him. The left side of the infield has been what he's been accustomed to. I feel like he's going to be able to make that transition back over to third base fairly smoothly.
Anthony Pack Jr. on left, Aiden Robbins in center, and Jaden Duplantier in right. Carson Tinney is the battery mate for Max Grubbs. And so here is Galloway.
Galloway loves to use the middle part of the field, does a great job of presenting that barrel headed back towards the pitcher area, which allows him to stay on balls a lot longer than pull. A lot of guys will get pull happy and they'll pull off those sliders. And if you're facing a guy like Max Grubbs, you're going to have to be able to stay on, particularly right-handed hitters, stay on his slider.
His .398 average is 72 points better than any other full-time starter. And he rips this to left center, long gone. Home run number 5 of the season, into the wind, going out to left, but I'm not sure that would have made a difference. His hitting streak now at 21. Bobcats on the board first.
Gap to gap is what we talked about with him in the open, and you'll watch this ball left center. This is where he likes to try to center his bat, and a lot of his power are not prodigious high home runs. They're more of a line drive out. We get another look at this. Fastball right, a sinker right in the middle of the plate, elevated. Rashawn Galloway doesn't miss many of those.
So 5 home runs this season. He had 3 his first 3 seasons overall. That ball just foul off the bat of the designated hitter, Manny Salas.
Well, part of that stat for him, and again, I get to see a lot of their games and call some of them, is he has spent a lot of time over the last couple of years being injured, and he has had a hard time staying healthy, whether it's been a leg injury or different things, and this is the first time in a long time in his career that he has been healthy over a length of time.
Yeah, broke his hamate bone opening night of the 2025 season. Second home run allowed by Grubbs this year. Salas batting .326.
I'll tell you another thing about Galloway that people don't know. I mean, he was probably 20, 30 pounds heavier coming out of high school as a high school quarterback, point guard, you name it, all kind of great athlete. Decided to make a change in his body, get stronger, trim down, and he is a lot more agile now through his body change.
Yeah, he lost that weight in order to play in the outfield more. But his power numbers have certainly come through. 41 hits now in his last 21 games. He was batting .172 before that hitting streak began February 24th. You see Salas, the .326 average, an OPS of .1035 with 6 home runs. Just got a piece. The count is 1-2. 429 feet on that home run. Came off the bat at 106 miles per hour.
That's what it's going to take often enough to try to get balls out of this ballpark. Luckily tonight that the wind's blowing towards left field and allow some of that open area in left and left center. Create a little bit of carry out there. You can see with Grubbs, he likes to use his breaker now. And what's interesting, David, is left-handed hitters are only hitting 107. Right-handed hitters are hitting 273 before the Galloway homer. And that's unusual. Usually it's the other way around.
That's lined by a diving Mendoza. Base hit. Back-to-back hits for the Bobcats. And Salas is on first with 1 out.
Looks like he went back to the slider again. Salas doing a pretty good job. Not a pretty good job. Good job of staying with this ball and zeroing in back up the middle just past Mendoza.
Shift is on for the shortstop, Dawson Park. Big cut 0-1. Sophomore from Magnolia, Texas. A breakout season. Hit .219 last year. He's at .305 this year with a team high 35 runs batted in and 9 home runs to Ty Cotton. 5 home runs in his last 5 games.
Well, the power has recently come into play for him. He's a really, really athletic young man, and he plays shortstop at a high level, played second some last year, third and short, but a very athletic shortstop.
Strike call. 1-2.
That's that new breaker that Grubbs has brought in. It's been mainly for him fastball slider change or splitter change, but he's brought that bigger, slower breaker to add to his arsenal.
Texas's upcoming series at South Carolina is Thursday, Friday, Saturday. We're expected to see quite a few bullpen pitchers on the mound for Texas here today.
Both teams playing Thursday. It's
right.
It's Easter weekend in college baseball, and most, if not all, now have moved up to Thursday, Friday, Saturday. The college guys a chance to hunt Easter eggs on Sunday and catch their breath a little bit. I'm sure their moms and love to have a chance to hang out after a game and see their child and celebrate Easter.
Salas going, pitch high, throw from Tenney on a hop, tag applied, and they got him.
Now, the one thing about Tenney is he gets the ball in and out, and his exchange really quick, does a good job with it. This time bouncing it in, but the perfect part of this is watch its own line, David, right on the bag. And it was bang, bang. Mendoza doing a really good job of catching it first And then a real quick snap tag.
This ball's lifted. On the run. Oh, it's off the glove of Robbins. On his way to second is Park. He'll slide in safely. So instead of the third and final out, Bobcats keep the inning going as Robbins couldn't handle that fly ball.
It looked like he was there in time in a comfortable position. He just missed. It looked like it went underneath his glove. It didn't appear that he took his eyes off it. Sometimes when the ball gets to those outfielders, their glance to see where they may be trying to throw. Like it just went right underneath his glove, misplayed it.
So here's a familiar face to Longhorn fans, Jaquay Stewart, who played here at Texas last season. Junior from Sinton, Texas. Count 1-0. He just had one home run all of last season, but he's coming off his first multi-home run game of his Division I career. That came Friday at Georgia State, 2 of the 8 home runs the Bobcats had in that game. Becerra from his position at short. Oh, and again miscommunication. Second time the Bobcats get on base after a miscue in the outfield. Stewart is on second. Park running on contact scores, and it's 2-0.
Well, you've got a young man going out to shortstop, and Becerra that hasn't been out there since when he was at Stanford. It looks like he's going to get underneath it comfortably. I couldn't tell if Pack was hollering at him, ball, ball, ball. It looked like he was saying you, meaning take the ball. But again, he's transitioning back to shortstop from where he was at Stanford a year ago.
Right, 50 starts at short 1 year ago, but had been the regular starter at third base before today. Usually that's Adrian Rodriguez at short, but he's out week to week with a hand injury. And so the inning continues. Now Ethan Ferris with 5 home runs this season, but that's only in 9 games. He's coming off injury, and he finds the hole with the shift on. Stewart rounding third, and it's all Texas State in the early going, 3-0. Ferris does not advance to second on the air and throw, but a hot start by the visitors from San Marcos.
Well, certainly taking advantage of the mistakes in the outfield. There was a full shift, meaning Mendoza was on the left. As you can see at the top of the screen, he's on the left side of second base. Ethan Ferris doing what a lot of years can do. You see a shift like that, you see something you can get to push to that side, particularly with a guy in RBI, situation at second base.
So Ferris on with a single. Stewart's hit ruled a double. Park reaching base on the E8. And now the 7th man to bat is the catcher Clayton Namkin. Former New Braunfels Unicorn, the freshman, hitting .279 with 4 home runs this season. Texas coming in has lost their last 2 midweek games. In fact, the last time they won midweek was in San Marcos 3 weeks ago, a 15-4 domination on the road. Since then, lost to Tarleton State here and losing a 7-0 lead 1 week ago at Houston, and down 3-0 before the Longhorns are even coming to bat. Another base hit the opposite way. Ferris on his way to third. The throw over Becerra. Borba there to cover. Ferris slides in safely, and runners are on the corners.
Well, this ball was going to beat the shift either way. If they'd have been aligned normal, this was going to be a base hit to the right side. But again, they went to a pull side shift, and a lot of times hitters, when they do that, and particularly David, if they're looking for a slider away from them, they'll use that side of the field. And Namkin coming up with a hit going the other way with a line drive, and that's going to warrant a visit from pitching coach Mac Weiner for the Longhorns.
Five Texas State hits this inning. Although, of course, on a couple of occasions, normally outs, but a miscue by Robbins in center field, and then the miscommunication between Pack and Becerra in left center. Since then, back-to-back singles by Ethan Ferris and Clayton Namkin to keep the inning going.
Yeah, and people sometimes get into discussion about, the shift, right? Do you live by it and die by it, right? Well, if you're going to do it, you got to do it, but you pitch to it as well. And I think with Ferris, he just recognized, hey, there's a ball coming the other way. I'm not going to try to do too much. Had he been trying to hit a ball out to left field, then they wouldn't have gotten that base hit and that RBI. Same for Namkin, just staying with that ball and shooting it the other way. As we see Texas in a full-side shift again now.
And now Chase Mora, the senior from Tomball, Texas, who's had multiple hits in 4 of his last 5 games. Count 1-1.
When Moore is at his best, the whole field is his friend, meaning he can drive balls to right field, he can shoot balls down the right field line. Now his power, the majority of it, is left center. But when he's doing a good job of staying on it, he uses the whole field. I should say, when I say staying on it, staying on the pitches and not pulling off. That's the old Coach Parley coming out of there.
Grubbs gets Mora to end the inning. But Texas State with a 3 spot to begin this contest. And it all started with a no-doubt dinger off the bat of Rashawn Galloway.
That ball center cut for Rashawn Galloway, and right now he is on a power surge for the Bobcats.
Casey Barber, red hot, mentioned the 5 hits, 7 runs batted in over the weekend on an on-base streak of 20 straight, batting .384 in that span. He bats 5th for Jim Schlossnagle's Texas Longhorns. Josh Livingston, playing at first with the injury to Adrian Rodriguez, bats 9th. Mentioned Becerra at short. He's batting 6th today. Ashton Larson, the DH, 7th. Got one of the 2 game-winning hits for the Longhorns in the sweep of Oklahoma. First time since March 5th that Ryan Marquardt will touch the mound in a game for the Bobcats. First start of the season, 0-1 this year. He gave up 5 runs in an inning to Washington State March 5th and a Texas State win, and got the loss, allowing 2 runs in 2/3 of an inning at Baylor on February the 17th.
Yeah, sometimes as a coach, and I'm not speaking for Coach Trout, but just going back into that time in my life where you're searching for that 4th starter or somebody, you've used a guy out of the bullpen. Well, if he's been a starter, sometimes they have a hard time going to the bullpen. So maybe they're going to go, hey, you've been a starter before. Maybe we can get 3, 6, 9 outs going this way if you allow him to know ahead of time and maybe put him back in his comfort zone.
You mentioned Stephen Trout, head coach of Texas State. Former assistant under you in San Marcos before becoming head coach. He's in his 7th season now, and he played at TCU under Jim Schlossnagle.
Well, there's a lot on the field tonight between all 3 of us and relationships, and how even Stephen got to Texas State was because of Jim Schlossnagle in a conversation that Coach Schloss and I had, and I was looking for a young, volunteer coach way back.
He was 24 when he became a volunteer coach under you, then came back as an assistant in 2016. He told me yesterday he is forever indebted to you for the position he's in now. He's hoping Texas State could win its 5th straight here in Austin.
Yeah, that's a part of this series I have not understood over the last couple years, but it's been fun trying to figure it out, and they've been great baseball games.
I don't know if anyone's understood it. Ethan Mendoza to lead off. Chopper, Brady Bowles at second, 1 down.
Well, this half inning starting off like Texas State, so with a ground ball to second baseman. Bowles doing a good job. fielding this ball, making a nice, easy throw over to the first baseman, Ferris. And that's something Marquardt would like to have, is those right-handed hitters chasing balls down and away from them, beating them down into the ground.
So here's the catcher, Carson Tinney. He had 4 runs batted in the sweep of Oklahoma. In fact, Friday in the 7th, he hit maybe the hardest hit sac fly in Texas history. The bases were loaded, but the wind was blowing in, gusting up to 30 miles per hour, and off the bat, everyone thought it was going for a grand slam, but just a deep fly ball out to score a run.
That just shows you the power of wind in the game of baseball and how important it is. And also it tells you why most college baseball coaches have about 5 weather apps on their phone to talk about the wind and how hard it's blowing. And look, there are guys, including me, that would form a lineup based on what the wind was doing.
Really?
Yeah, a lot of coaches do that. And it makes sense. It's part of the game.
3-0 to Tinney.
That ball would have been on the tennis court. If the wind blowing like it is tonight, it would have, hit somebody close to the tennis courts.
That sac fly made it 3-2 Oklahoma, and then Tinney singled in the bottom of the 9th to tie the game at 3. Walk-off wins Friday and Saturday in that Oklahoma series. Strike call now 3-1. On Saturday, Tinney hit a 2-run blast to cut Oklahoma's lead to 3-2. Led off the bottom of the 8th with a single and would later score to tie the game at 4. So they had to come back, the Longhorns, from deficits to win those last 2 games after winning the series opener 14-0. Tinney walks with 1 out, and Aiden Robbins steps to the plate.
That's something Carson Tinney brings to the table. I know people don't always talk about the free 90s, which you get out of base on balls, and you got to work as a hitter to earn some of those. But it's his 23rd walk of the year. That's 23 times he's gotten on base based off of a walk or base on balls. In other terms, that's 23 singles in reality, from a coach's mind.
So Robbins tries to make up for his error in the top of the first, which helped Texas State to score 3. 9 home runs, tied with Casey Borba for the team lead. And a pitch clock violation means an automatic ball. The count 1-0 to Robbins.
Yeah, Joe Harris called it as the pitch was being made. He stood up to make the call and then decided to squat back down as he should behind the catcher because the pitcher was letting go of it.
This is ripped to left field. Will it stay fair? Yes, sir. A Texas round tripper for Aiden Robbins, his 10th of the year, and it's 3-2.
Aiden Robbins just absolutely smothers this ball with his barrel as it got out of here in a hurry. It's a pull side swing for him when he recognizes it elevated enough, and this is those kind of in between prodigious line drive and prodigious fly ball in between, because this thing is blasted. Get another look at it. Middle end to him. Throw that in there on an experienced hitter like that, Aiden Robbins, and you can see that ball lands on the street behind the occupied left field fans.
The fans out there may catch a few more with that strong wind blowing out to left today. I've already seen 2 long balls out to left field. So 10 home runs as mentioned for Robbins, matching his total his first 2 seasons at Seton Hall. He's done it here in Austin in a third of the at-bats.
Matured hitter. A lot of people think that, look, you got to have power, you got to have bat speed, no question about it. But that's not the only ingredient. It is what pitch do you swing at? Are you willing to go deep in the count to get that pitch you need to be able to get to the middle or the bottom middle of the baseball to drive it out?
Pack to short, and Dawson Park throws on to Ferris for out number 2.
A lot of people love to talk about power. Well, he's big, strong, he's burly. But you look at Aiden Robbins, it's not that. I mean, it's an athletic body. It's got tremendous bat speed and buggy whip in his barrel. But it's his decisions that are helping him with his power about what pitch you think he can elevate and get out of the ballpark.
So here's Casey Borba. 6 of his 7 runs batted in against Oklahoma. Came in the series opener Thursday in that 14-0 win. Then Oklahoma didn't want to pitch to him much the next day. 3 walks on Friday. Game-winning single Saturday for the sweep. That was in the 10th inning and the 5-4 win. 1-1 the count.
Well, the big hit he had on that last game against OU, we talked about the at-bat after the game, and he said, I got a little sped up, and that's unusual for him. He sees so many pitches, and again, another mature hitter, experienced hitter, has seen a lot of pitches. And like that, he felt like watching that pitch right there. I don't mind going into getting 2 strikes into account. Wasn't something he felt like maybe he was trying to get something he could pull or go gap side to his pull side. And so it's just starts to show the experience of the number of pitches you can see as a college hitter and what it does for you.
And that experience has paid off to what so far a career season. The 333 average compared to his 278 last year, and he had 256 as a freshman in 2024.
When coaches start talking about a portal and a formula that they have that fits for them, one of the top ones is going to be number at bats against quality pitching. That's going to be one of the very first thing coaches are going to look at.
Count full.
Another one is always going to be for coaches that are really paying attention on the offensive side. How many pitches has he seen in a year? Because that comes into play as a guy. If you're a chase guy, you're not going to see as many pitches. You know, what does your swing miss ratio look like? And obviously Casey Borba is not a portal guy, but when you start looking for a profile, this is what it looks like.
He just works his 20th walk of the season.
Much like Carson Tenney, those guys are they're big, strong. They know they've got power, but they also understand that if they chase, it takes their power away from them.
So here's Timba Becerra, shortstop in place of Adrian Rodriguez tonight. Casey Borba moving over from first to third. Becerra, .299 at the plate with 5 home runs. Wind whipping out to left, and that's the party bus beyond the right center field wall. But the American and Texas flags above the center field wall are blowing similarly.
If you're up there and your hat blows off, do you reach for it or you just let it go at that point?
I would not
wear
wear
a fall.
I would not wear a hat if I am on that bus, because it is likely coming off.
Well, that's a no-go for me. I'm going to have a hat on. You can 100% count on that with this no hair on top of it, so I need a little bit of protection.
Looking good. I mean, most of them wearing hats. I'm sure it's awfully tight on their head. 1-1 the count. How much can it affect a hitter, and this is in general, when you move positions like both Borba and Becerra have here?
It's just a comfort level. Routine. Let me go back and just say routine. You're used to running to one spot out in the field. You feel comfort. You're not worried as much about discussing what your responsibilities are as a defender. Obviously, at third base, there are different responsibility than shortstop. The good news is I mean, for the Texas fans, is that you've got an experienced shortstop who's been playing third base.
Ground ball will find the hole. Base hit to left. Runners at first and second for Texas with 2 down.
And same goes for Borba, for that matter. You got a quality first baseman who was a third baseman. As Becerra, you just said, gets a base hit in between shortstop and third base, and he's got such good bat-to-ball qualities about him. Doesn't swing and miss a bunch. Becerra doesn't.
And now Ashton Larson coming off his best weekend as a Longhorn. Friday went 3 for 3, including the game-winning single, and he had 5 walks in the series overall.
A lot of people obviously going to remember that late game hit walk-off and what he did. That's a 90. By the way, that was a 97 on our fastball he hit that night. Even though it was elevated, shows a quality hitter, and him bringing in the opposite side of the field for that hit.
It's foul, 1-1.
I don't know the last time you tried to catch up with a 97-mile-an-hour heater. It's not easy to do. As we get another look at Ashton Larson's heroics against OU. That is 97. You think, well, that ball was elevated right in the middle. Yes, it was. But it wasn't coming in at 85 miles an hour.
It's great to see him healthy. Battled injuries at LSU last season, hit 256. His on-base percentage as a Longhorn this year, .509. But he's behind at the count here, 1-2.
I had a lot of at-bats too, and then just fought the, like I said, fought the injuries. Injuries are part of baseball, just like they're part of football. And if you're not getting at-bats, if you're not catching fly balls, if you're not throwing off the mound, all those things because of injuries, whoever you are and what position.
Right center. Jackson Cotton backpedals and on the track makes the grab for the final out. Aiden Robbins, team leading 10th home run of the year, cuts into the Texas State lead. 3-2 in Austin after 1. The first here in Austin, Todd.
You see this center cut fastball. Rashawn Galloway doesn't miss it. That was the true blast of the inning. Then they had a couple misplayed fly balls. And then two balls hit to the other way on the ground and on the line. Texas State ends up scoring 3 in their first half of the inning.
The 48 home runs this season for Texas State is the most in the Sun Belt, and it matches their entire total from the 2025 season.
Well, heck, they had 16 in 2 games. If you start adding those up, and they get there in a hurry.
Yeah, they've hit 8 home runs in a game in each of the last 2 weekends. First program to do that twice in one season since Georgetown in 2022. And with all respect to the Hoyas, I'm imagining the Bobcat opponents were better.
Well, yeah, and then they have, their stadium at Texas State is known as Slam Marcus, and so, it's real when the wind's out of the south late in mid to late March, and then the rest of the way out through the year, that wind's out of the southeast, and it is a small ballpark.
This is a bullpen game for both teams, so Cade Bean gets the second for Texas, the junior from West Texas, where I've stopped many times on my drives up to the DFW area. It's his 3rd appearance of the year. He's given up 3 runs. It's officially a 1/3 of an inning pitched. 12 appearances last season, including 10 starts, going 3-0 and an ERA just above 3.
I used to hang out as a young tyke out at West Fraternal Hall and listen to music. And
Yeah.
oh yeah, it was all kind of fun.
I'm probably like most, where I've stopped in 2 places in West my entire life. You have the Czech stop going off the north side of I-35, and Slovacek's heading south.
2 good places to stop. And notice both of them have food. I don't know if you recognize that or not, but
Well, Slovacek's is the dog park, so I got a dog now, so
Yeah.
we take her up to the DFW area. Got to stop there now.
it's a great baseball town. It's had a ton of players. I've coached a couple of them my first team here. Had JD was from, West, and then there's been probably, golly, I don't know how many Division I players out of that town. It's a very athletic baseball and football town.
2-2 the count to Brady Bowles, sophomore from Lubbock, Texas, batting .269 this season. To center, Aiden Robbins comes in and makes the play for at number 1.
There were a lot of things that could have happened when that ball left the bat, but I can tell you one that wasn't going to happen. Aiden Robbins was not going to miss that ball. I can promise you that. Everything about catching it was going to happen.
Yeah, Max Scrubs gave up 3 runs in the first, just 1 earned. Aiden Robbins an error, a fly ball off his glove, and then 1 batter later ruled a double off the bat of Jaquay Stewart, but bouncing in between shortstop Temba Becerra and Anthony Pack Jr. out in the left.
Communication's part of it. If you hadn't been out in that position and you're not communicated with the left fielder, Pack, as much, you've done it before, but not as much. There may have been a breakdown on the communication part of it between the two of them.
Pack started the season in right, now moving over to left, and Becerra, longtime starter at short at Stanford last year. Top of the order, and the freshman Cotton grounded out his first time up. Is fouled away, and the count is 2-1. By the way, the 3 runs by Texas State in the top of the first, the most first inning runs against Texas in 20 years. 2006, the last time they scored 3.
That Texas State scored 3, or
yes,
yeah,
Texas State.
Yeah. Oh, I've had a lot of foul tips since 2006, so I can't remember exactly what happened.
How different of a feeling was it, even leading up to the game, the day of, when your Bobcats were about to play the Longhorns?
Yeah, no, it was always fun. It's such a great environment for baseball, for college baseball, and big ballpark, and you knew it was going to be a good crowd, and yet even your own, we're going to travel up here too from San Marcos, and a lot of Bobcats in the Austin area.
Ooh, line foul.
And
Everyone
so
okay?
Yeah, it's always fun. It's always a great place. People look forward to playing here. Young player at different schools always want to come here because of the tradition of the baseball program and getting that opportunity to play. And then for Texas State, it was, like I said, it was so close.
Bing has to hurry on to first. Nicely done, 2 down.
You're right on when you say nicely done. This is a good play by Cade Bing. Ball's got a lot of spin on it when it comes off the end of the bat. Your first reaction is to over-attack, and just got some spin, breaks down, picks it up with a bare hand, secures it, and then probably throws about an 88-mile-an-hour fastball over to Livingston.
And so now Rashawn Galloway, 426 feet off the bat, is blast in the first to get Texas State on the board. 21 game hit streak, 14 multi-hit games, 482 batting average, 25 runs batted in. Casey Borba from his old position at third. It gets Livingston off the bag, but Livingston applies the tag, and Cade Bing has a 1-2-3 second. 3-2 with the Longhorns coming up in the bottom of the second. games 40 minutes apart, and the fans here witnessing 5 runs in the first. It's 3-2 Texas State as we head to the bottom half of the second inning. Jim Schlossnagle, head coach of Texas, 7 career appearances in the College World Series, hoping for his first as head coach of the Longhorns in 2026. Of course, 2 at Texas A&M and 5 at TCU, where Texas State head coach Stephen Trout played for Schloss in Fort Worth just about 20 years ago.
It's got to be fun for Coach Trout to have an opportunity to coach against and compete against Coach Schlossnagle, who's been so important in his life and in his professional life. I mean, to get those opportunities, I never got an opportunity to coach against head coach against my head coach, Coach Gus. It was an assistant I did at Arkansas State in a regional here. But it's a proud moment too, you know, for Coach Trout to go, hey, Coach, look what, you know, I'm in the other dugout. I mean, you get a look at both of them. Both really good baseball guys, by the way. Obviously, I mean, their records speak for themselves. Coach Schlossnagle's been in this longer, and you know, you just got through talking about the number of trips to the College World Series, but it's got to be fun for them. It really is. And a proud moment for Jim as well, for Stephen to be in the other dugout.
Ryan Marquardt brings the 1-2 to Jaden Duplantier. And Duplantier goes down swinging. Nampkin onto Ferris, and there's 1 down. So let's take a look back at TCU. That's Stephen Trout on the left, Jim Schlossnagle on the right. And Coach Trout said it was okay to say this story because it's one that he says has scarred him for his entire life since it happened. When he got to Fort Worth, there was a youth baseball camp. Jim Schlossnagle was wearing a hat, and Trout says he looked completely different with the hat than when he didn't wear one. So when he saw Schloss for the first time, he said to him, "Hey, do you coach here?" And Schloss answered, "Yeah, I'm the head coach."
Well, it all turned out pretty good. That's a great story and a great outlook on, hey, things can still work out.
Trout says that Schloss taught him every detail matters when running a program, who you hire, your assistants, team nutrition, how you travel, and especially discussing the mental game in baseball. That's the shortstop Park making the grab, and Josh Livingston is down for the second out of the second.
And like that, you got 2 quick outs. Plantier with a strikeout and Livingston with a pop-up for Dawson Park. And after a longer first inning for both pitchers, but for Marquardt, he comes out and gets the first 2 guys. Now he's going to swing it back up to the top of the order for Mendoza.
Mendoza hit safely in all 3 of the Oklahoma games, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Junior coming in with a .273 batting average.
That's just a grinder. I love watching him play. I mean, he just long at bats, he grinds, he hits balls the other way, he plays hard, he runs hard. You know that you're getting, you don't know what the outcome is in an at-bat, you don't know what the outcome is in the field, but you know what he's giving you. That is, he's giving you everything he's got every time he puts on the spikes.
Here's the 2-0. Liner, fair ball. Mendoza on his way to second, and he will trot in with a stand-up double with 2 down.
Got him out front a little bit, like an off-speed pitch that got Mendoza out front. Just enough, he stays back. Watch this right here. He's going to sit back there just enough and be able to go pull side with it. I mean, you couldn't cut it any closer for it to be foul or fair, except for maybe being on the line. He gets a stand-up double.
6th double of the season for Mendoza to keep the inning alive, and here's Carson Tinney. He walked his first time up. Then the man on deck, Aiden Robbins, blasted a 2-run home run to give the Longhorns their run so far tonight. Mendoza going to third. Here's the throw down. Mendoza safe.
Somebody this the other day. I think Texas steals third base more than they steal first base. It's been a an opportunity that they've taken advantage of all year long. They watch their video. They know their timing. They're on their own. These guys are on their own. Once they size up that they're not going to go to a slide step, because you've got to make sure with 2 outs, you don't want the 3rd out made there. Mendoza with a great job of running the bases.
He's now 6 for 6 stealing bases this year. Count now 0-2 to Tinney.
One of these days, somebody needs to do a new documentary on how many deep breaths are taken in a college baseball game, because they're all taught to do that, and it's great. I mean, it's part of your lifestyle as a baseball player. Honest to goodness, it is. And we do it as humans in everyday life. But if you watch in a game, just particularly pitchers and hitters that are engaged in that moment one-on-one, you just, wow, I mean, there's so many deep breaths taken because it represents a lot of different things. You know, that moment, moving to the next moment, relax, focus, and I mean, it is a bunch.
Here comes the 1-2. Bounces away from Namkin. Here comes Mendoza, and we're tied.
Well, Ethan Mendoza just made his own offense up himself, and he comes up with a 2-out double, number 1, steals 3rd base, puts himself in position for something like that to happen. Ball bounces, gets away from Namkin, not by much. But Ethan Mendoza hustles. What I'm talking about, the guy brings his armor every day when he puts his spikes on to go play as hard as he can.
The 2-out double, then the steal of 3rd, and then scoring on the wild pitch, and the Longhorns have come back from 3 runs down. Tinney swings and misses. Namkin has to throw to first, and that'll do it in the 2nd. But we're tied up in Austin. Texas State and Texas, 3-all through 2. I mentioned how Steven Trout played for Jim Schlossnagle, and now he is one of a number of players and former coaches that make up the Jim Schlossnagle coaching tree. Tony Vitello got his first win as San Francisco Giants manager yesterday. Great Kirk Saarloos, an assistant from 2013 to 2021. What else stands out on that list to you, Todd?
You know, Coach Moziola and his son coaching first base here. And so, I mean, there's all Derek Matlock, who was, you mentioned, head coach at UTRGV, was an assistant of mine as well, and a tremendous, I mean, a everyday worker as a baseball coach. I mean, it's success breeds success. That's what that says to me. You go through and you look at those coaches and what they've done and where they are and what's going on in their life, and they're all in Coach Schloss's tree. I mean, that's it. You know, you get around success and you start to earn it and know what it looks like.
Cade Bing gets the 3rd, and it's a 2-0 count to Manny Salas. As far as Trout goes, again, he became a volunteer assistant under you after Jim Schlossnagle's recommendation. Then he comes back in 2016 as an assistant. When did you realize that he could make a really good head coach at this level?
Yeah, late in my career, my last 2 years, and he's got good leadership skills. I mean, he's the same guy, and look, this is sometimes a corny thing to say that people say, but he cares about people. He wants his players to do good. And when you want your players to do good, you're going to give them everything you got. You're going to give them more effort, and he does a good job of that. I mean, you throw in line that he understands the game. He understands recruiting. He was a really good recruiter for us, and evaluating, and it's important to him, and he's willing to go translate and communicate that importance to his players.
Salas is worth the count full. Speaking of the culture, Trout gives credit to you as far as him learning about that. Said that you made Texas State baseball feel like a family during your years there.
Well, I appreciate that. There's a lot. There's so many things that went into trying to move that program forward. You know, from raising money for just uniforms and I mean, there was a lot that we all experienced. And so I can't tell you how grateful I am that I had the chance, but also the young guys that I got a chance to coach. They made that thing work, and we were begging, stealing, borrowing everything we could get our hands on to try to make us look like we were somebody else, right? And an assistant coach. I was talking to Jeremy Feacox the other day about, he played at Southwest Texas and was one of my assistants as well, and just the different things we had to try to do. Ball out in front.
Tenney throws to first, and Salas strikes out to begin the third. 4 up, 4 down so far for Cade Bing in his relief appearance.
Probably the most important thing is being able to get the strike zone in there.
So Stephen Trout, you think maybe next season would pass Steve Prentice for second? I did not project how many years it would take for him to pass you, however. 657 wins in 20 seasons.
That's what happens when you stay somewhere a long time, or I'm sorry, it's when you have good players and you get to stay somewhere for a really long time. And that is 20 years in coaching life at any one place is an accomplishment. I'm not saying it because I did it, but in modern day athletics, you just don't see it that often.
Well, I think that speaks to you and just how much Texas State enjoyed you personally and, of course, professionally for all the success you had on the field.
Well, I appreciate that, but it was, like I said, there was so much going on trying to create and help create that program and the energy behind it. It was such a beautiful place. The campus, the school, the university is truly an incredible place.
It's just foul off the bat at Dawson Park.
I used to tell people when I would go through campus, and this is true, very true, I would ask students I'd never met in my life, and I would go, and the ones that had graduated, I'd ask them all the time because I went to graduation. Every time I had a kid graduate, I tried to get to watch. It would be like, hey, would you like Texas State? Waiting to hear something negative. No. That was always just, it was freaking awesome. What are you talking about? It was unbelievable.
Tenney had to get out of his stance and somehow prevented that from going off the backstop. No one on base. Still a nice effort, but the count is 2-2.
So far, Bing's stuff has been really good with the exception of that last ball that just got away from him. The majority of his fastballs have been downhill. He's got over the top of them.
Tailing towards the right field line, but foul. Still 2-2 to Park.
Yeah, and he's doing a good job of spinning that breaker right now, too. There's been times in his career a year ago that breaker be lazy getting out of his hand and pop out early. So far tonight, he's been able to keep his fingers over and really rotate that breaker and command it.
Used mostly as a starter last season. 10 starts overall, 12 appearances, an ERA of .315. To center. Robbins charging in and makes the grab. After reaching in the first inning off a fly ball that hit off the glove of Robbins, he holds this one in for out number 2.
Well, if you're watching to see how hard the wind's blowing, look at Aiden Robbins' hair. It's flowing all over the place. That gives you an idea of just how strong the wind is out there right now. And look, it creates tension for the defenders because you don't know how far it's going to carry. You're having, as an outfielder, you're having to run a long ways to make sure you get there. It just makes securing those fly balls just a little bit tougher.
Now the former Longhorn, Jaquay Stewart. doubled and scored in the first. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
I'm sorry, David. It was a year ago when he hit the homer against Georgia. They put him into the lineup. I think there was an injury and he got his opportunity and took advantage of it. So I think he hit a pull side homer to right field that was huge. I think they were behind at the time, or it was tied or close, and it was a huge at bat for Texas to win that game that day.
That was on April 5th of last season. The only home run of his Texas career. Count as 2-1 to Stewart. Saw the average at 268, but his OPS is just over 900 this year. 5 home runs, a team high 2 triples. First multi-homer game of his Division I career on Friday. First grand slam of his D1 career the weekend before, and helping the Bobcats to sweep Louisiana. So here's the homer you were talking about. The Longhorns were down 4-0 before this Jaquay Stewart 2-run homer, which began the rally. Texas would win 7-4.
Yeah, I almost knocked that bus down. It's how far he hit it and how hard he hit it, but it was a huge moment. As you just said, if they were chasing 4 at the time.
That stays fair. Livingston touches the first base bag, and it is 6 up and 6 down for Cade Bing, and his 2 innings of work. Former Ty Harrington assistant Stephen Trett will join us when we return. Texas State with 3 in the top of the first. Number 2 Texas has rallied with 3 runs of their own. 3-3 as we head to the bottom of the third. We're joined now by Bobcat head coach Stephen Trett. Obviously the hot start for you before the Texas rally. Your thoughts so far through the first 2.5 innings?
Yeah, I came out swinging it and took advantage of some mistakes and, kind of built off what we've done the last couple of weeks. And then Bing's come in the game and slowed the game down, done a good job. So got to make some adjustments. He's got some new pitches kind of going tonight. So they've done some good work. But yeah, we know it's going to be a back-and-forth battle on a Tuesday night. We've got to battle some guys that hadn't thrown a ton, but just got to keep fighting and keep responding.
Coach, I got to ask, if you named yourself the offensive coach over the last 2 weeks and Galloway's personal hitting instructor over the last couple of weeks?
100%, 100%. But the weeks before that, maybe not. Nah, Coach Linehan does a phenomenal job with those guys. And it's contagious, right? You get the balls elevated, guys hit a home run, another guy wants to do it. And so this game's all about confidence. So when you have it and you believe in it, a lot of good things can happen.
Good to talk to you, Coach. Good luck the rest of the way.
All right, thanks, guys.
Stephen Trett in his 7th season as Bobcat head coach. Of course, former assistant under Ty Harrington at Texas State, including in 2019 when the Bobcats won their first ever Sun Belt regular season title. Dylan Curbo gets the bottom of the third for the Bobcats, the senior from the Woodlands, Texas. 1 2/3 innings of work. This is his 3rd appearance of the season, all out of the pen. He's allowed 5 runs, but just 2 of them earned, and has struck out 1 so far in 2026.
My dad was a former athlete here too, and was a golfer, but one of the last recruits. But you can think this far back. I think he was a sophomore in high school when the initial communication began. He came to camp, I think, and hung in there. He's got his degree. He's doing good. More opportunities as a pitcher for them as he's grown.
Yeah, he comes from an athletic family. You mentioned his father, Randy, played golf here at Texas.
Yep.
Aunt Amy played volleyball at Ole Miss. Grandfather Randall played football at Rice, then for the Houston Oilers when they were an AFL team from 1958 to 1963. Had a great uncle play football in San Marcos when they were Southwest Texas State.
Diamond Jim. It's very well known in the city of San Marvelous and around the Texas State world.
0-2 the count to Robbins. His two-run blast made it 3-2 in the first. A three-pitch strikeout to begin the outing for Curbo.
Curbo doing a good job of ripping his breaker, threw him one before it and got him to chase. He does a good job of attacking him. When I say rip it, watch him get after it right here. It's like he's trying to throw a fastball, but it obviously sets his finger all the side and rips his slider. Those hitters sometimes have a hard time picking up that spin when those pitchers get after it like that.
So here's Anthony Pack Jr., who's 0 for 1 today. Going into the Oklahoma series, of course, a sweep by the Longhorns. He came in on a 5-game hitless streak. He made an instant impact from his first time at the plate. In the first 5 innings of that 14-0 win Thursday, he scored 4 times.
You couldn't tell unless you read his bio or looked on the program. You couldn't tell by the way he plays that he's a freshman. You just can't. I mean, I know that 280 average are people with higher average, but he has good at bats.
It's foul off Pack, 1-1.
And to be honest with you, he's had big at bats. I mean, he's come up, his second, third time in different games. When he comes up, he's had RBI at bats that were critical for his team that a lot of guys as young hitters aren't prepared for emotionally sometimes.
He had big at bats also Friday and Saturday. Texas was down 3-0. Got the Longhorn rally started with a leadoff walk in the 7th. He'd scored the team's first run on a bases loaded walk to Josh Livingston. Saturday, Longhorns were down 4-2. Single to start the 7th. Stole second, which was key because from there he scored on an Ethan Mendoza single to make it 4-3 and took a 2-out walk in the 10th to keep the inning alive when the game was tied at 4. And one batter later, Casey Borba would single to give Texas the win in the sweep. Count 2-2 to Pack here.
Well, that's that advantage of, are you willing to see enough pitches? Do you have the confidence to go deep in the count, or do you have to be that guy that's gets so anxious in the box that he's got to swing at the first thing? Somebody hollers boo and he starts swinging at it as soon as it comes out of the pitcher's hand. You got to be able to find out what pitch it is that you want to hit and can hit.
This won't leave the infield. Park, the shortstop, calls it, and there's 2 down.
Curbo doing a good job coming in, executing sliders in the strike zone. I don't know if this is the first time he's thrown in this here at Dish Falk, and growing up with a dad that went to school here, I'm sure he heard all about it different times in his life. And
pitched in 11 games last season for Texas State, an ERA of just under 7. He did not pitch here.
Now that breaker's that's a better weapon for him. I mean, that's he's always had a 90, 91 mile an hour fastball. The breaker's gotten where it spins a lot better coming out of his hand.
That's the second baseman Bowles on the shift. On to Ferris in a 1-2-3 third for Dylan Curbo. Texas head coach Jim Schlossnagle joins us when we return. 3 as we head to the top of the 4th, and we're joined by Longhorn head coach Jim Schlossnagle. You're keeping Cade Bing out for his 3rd inning of work, 6 up, 6 down so far. An impressive outing. How important is that when you think about the depth of your bullpen?
Yeah, I mean, especially, tonight we want to try to get multiple guys in the game, but, Cade's been coming on lately. Didn't feel great first third of the season, and then has really physically started feeling better, and he was a great strike thrower last year, so hopefully he can give us at least one more here.
Coach, I know with the update on A-Rod being out for a little bit, you had to make some decisions about moving some guys around. Do you mind taking us through your mindset about moving Borba back to third? And
yeah, I mean, ideally you don't want to move multiple guys. You'd rather just move, plug one guy in. But, Becerra, we kind of signed him to at least compete at shortstop. So at least we have an experienced guy there that played every day at Stanford. And Casey's in a much better position physically to be able to play third base. So we'll see how it goes. I mean, we have some other options. We'll see how it goes the next, week or so.
Good luck the rest of the way. Thanks for joining us.
All right, thank you, guys.
Ethan Ferris hammers the first offering of the inning off Bing, and it's gone. This is his 10th game of the season, and he's hit his 6th home run of the year. Bobcats take the lead back.
Well, part of the offense that they didn't have early in the year is because he was coming off of an injury. Ethan Ferris, that is, you just got a glimpse of what it can look like and the type of power that he has. It looked like an off-speed pitch that was elevated, and it was definitely a no-doubter as you see the river tube on him as he goes through the dugout. Oh, it looked like an elevated changeup that hung up there, and Ethan Ferris did not miss it.
Stephen Trout calls him a premier talent. Started 17 games last year. Before he had Tommy John surgery, he was out exactly 1 year. Last game last season, March 14th, and he came back March 14th of 2026. Damkin flies out to Robbins, and there's one out here on the top of the 4th. So now the Bobcats have more home runs this year here on March 31st than they did all of last season, and soon they should eclipse that 2024 mark.
Well, let's take the 6 out that you're getting out of the last 10 games from that guy on the camera right there, Ethan Ferris, and what he's brought to the table. I mean, that power part of this ground ball is up the middle back to Mendoza. Those out more for the second out, but when you can add offense, when you get a guy back on a team that was going to be a pretty good offense already, and all of a sudden your power just starts to explode.
And one thing also, Coach Trout said earlier in the year, it was more the top of the lineup that was the threat, but maybe not the bottom. And now with Ferris back, but other hitters stepping up, now 1 through 9, it's a lineup that is imposing to opposing pitchers. I mean, Chase Mora just grounded out. He's 1 homer away from tying Paul Goldschmidt for the most in Texas State history. Here's Brady Bowles batting 9th. He's 0 for 1 tonight.
Well, balancing a lineup, some people just say, man, a team got a bunch of 2-out hits. Well, let me tell you what, you're not getting 2-out hits if your lineup's not very good. Because one of those guys, if he's not very good and he's hitting 150 or below 200, he's probably going to kill your 2-out rally.
Ball says that hit his foot. Joe Harris at home plate says no. And Bowles is asking his staff to challenge Stephen Trout, the head coach, in the third base coaching box. And looks like we'll see a review here.
Well, you get 2 of them, so you can't take them home. So if he feels like, if you have to trust your players. Immediately you brought it up, and it's true. What Brady Bowles do? He went to the most universal sign now in America is 2 hands on the ear, meaning it's a replay. Let's review it. But
Texas State is challenging ruling a hit by pitch.
You got to trust your players. So Brady Bowles was confident that ball hit him. Now, whether it's going to be conclusive evidence, like it's a police deal or something, but if it's conclusive, then obviously it's worth it to get 90 feet. Particularly on a day you can pass the bat to the top of your order. We'll see what the camera says. Well, I was looking at the back. Oh, the front. I was looking at the back foot. It looked like it got his. Does it look like it got his front foot, David?
That first angle, I wasn't sure. Again, this has to be conclusive. Joe Harris behind home plate said no hit by pitch.
Well, one thing about it, they're going to get a different look from the Hawkeye deal, too, to help them. I'm sure they've got a bunch of different camera angles as our crew's putting together as good a look, too.
Yeah. This is what our umpiring crew is looking at right now.
Maybe right there on the right toe, his left big toe. You see that white mark on his, man, I wish I had one of those little pins like you could draw on the screen right there as it just passes by. I think that's what he thinks. How he got grazed is probably a better word than hit, but it doesn't matter how violent the ball hitting you is. It's just a matter if it did. There's a good look at it. That's going to be tough. That's tough. That's tough right there.
Sergeant Hulk a big toe, then maybe that would have shown off the shoe, but I'm not so sure about Brady Bull's big toe and whether this could be overturned since it must be conclusive.
After review, the batter was not hit by the pitch. The count is 2-1, and Texas State will have one challenge remaining.
I imagine Bowles is right.
I think he probably is.
It has to show in the video.
Grazed him. It's just you can't see it. I mean, even as good a camera work as our crew's giving you and Hawkeye, I mean, it's probably hard to see. In his mind, it did. You know, I mean, it.
Now he has to reset, called strike, and the count is 2-2.
Cade Bing's ready to move on.
Bing allowing the leadoff homer to Ferris, but that's the only hit off him in 2 2/3, and he looks to get out of the fourth. Just down a run. Call strike 3. So 2 calls that Bowles disagrees with in his at bat. And that does it in the top of the fourth. The Ferris homer has the Bobcats up 1. Barrington Classic. Our analyst tonight, former player here at Texas and 20-year head coach at Texas State. Both these teams coming off weekend sweeps, including Texas, one of 7 SEC teams to sweep their opponent. Alabama, Florida, Georgia swept North Carolina, who Texas will play next. South Carolina, not Georgia. Mississippi State, Texas A&M, and Vanderbilt all coming through with sweeps last weekend.
I think if I was going to pick 3 of those that I would not was going to happen would have been the Arkansas getting swept in Fayetteville. I don't Mississippi State sweeping Ole Miss at Ole Miss. I thought was I didn't think that would probably happen. I knew this was going to be there were going to be games here. They're going to be one run, thin margin of error as to who wins and loses with OU and Texas. But for Florida to go in there and Razorbackville, it doesn't happen.
Florida is now 6-3 in the SEC, a game behind Texas, Mississippi State, and Georgia.
Well, now Alabama's surged.
Yep.
Again, I thought going into the beginning of the year, the first quarter of the season, first couple, 3-4 weekends, they were kind of, up and down, and then I think they opened up sweeping Florida, if I remember right, in the SEC.
They've had back-to-back sweeps, so they're 6-3 Alabama now, and winners of 7 straight overall. So Florida and Alabama in second, a game behind them at 5-4. Texas A&M, Kentucky, and Vanderbilt. Kentucky, LSU, the only weekend series that was not a sweep. Kentucky took game 1, LSU took 2 and 3. Second baseman Bowles on to first, and Tema Becerra is out number 1.
Brady Bowles doing a good job of cutting down the distance on this ball and charging it. Really comfortable with that glove on this turf. Both fielding services are very similar in San Marcos and here. Watch him come get a good enough hop, throw on a run. I mean, that ball's thrown right at the first baseman's chest. Play good defense at second base.
Now Ashton Larson, who flew out to center to end the first. It was 3-2 after an inning. 2 defensive miscues by Texas, helping Texas State to their 3 runs, or 2 of their 3 runs rather. And in the bottom of the first, Aiden Robbins' 2-run shot to make it 3-2. Ethan Mendoza scored on a wild pitch in the bottom of the second to make it 3-3. Ethan Ferris solo shot in the top of the 4th, giving the Bobcats the lead back.
Ethan Ferris has been a shot in the arm for Texas State's offense.
You think of the depth of this team offensively being tested now. Of course, Jonah Williams out for the year, and Adrian Rodriguez week to week with a hand injury. And so that's where the portal comes in so key. You have Josh Livingston at first, then Ashton Larson, the LSU transfer, who has come through recently. 3-1.
Yeah, you got to have athletes. I mean, you got to have, and you're going to go in the portal. You got to come out with guys. You see a picture of Jonah. You got to come out with guys that are going to be athletic enough to go play other positions. And the old theory used to be, you go get 6-7 shortstops and spread them out all over the field. And, all these guys are probably, a lot of these guys are former high school shortstops.
Stewart and his old stomping ground. The former Longhorn makes the catch for out number 2.
And at this level, you figure as a coach what you think your lineup is going to look like, and then you go create depth behind it for this reason. You're not going to make it through a season, even though baseball is not a contact sport. You're not supposed to be. You're not going to make it through a season without getting somebody going down, at least for a week, a month or something to it. And you're fortunate if it's just that throughout the year, if it's your starting, 12, 13 guys.
And Duplantier, who struck out his first time, his first time to face Dylan Curbo, who is perfect through 5 batters so far.
Look at A-Rod's cast, and I'm sure that you can see there was some writing on that cast. I'm sure there's some fun stuff from his teammates, but that guy's so tough.
Ripped to left, base hit. 4th hit for the Longhorns. Duplantier is on with the 2-out single.
I'm going to finish up real quick about A-Rod. That guy, you could see him struggling when he would swing and miss. And I'd think to myself, is he just you know, what's going on, and he would tough it out and then come up with a big at bat and have 9 foul ball at bats with it, and then they finally going to, you know, hopefully get that fixed and get him back healthy and give him a chance the second half of the season, however long it is, and we'll help him.
Yeah, Jim Schlossnagle was starting to come out of the dugout during multiple at-bats after he would swing and miss, and you could just tell the pain he was under. So now Josh Livingston starting at first base today. Livingston at first. Becerra has been moved from third to short, and Casey Borba from first to third. Shifts in the infield with Rodriguez out.
Livingston looking for, you know, he's had at bats and played, but he's looking for his opportunity. You know, but sometimes it takes an injury. You know, Wally Pipp's story is one of the greatest things of all time, but it takes an injury for somebody to maybe to get in there, and then maybe they feel like, hey, I'm going to be in there, I'm not going to give this thing back, and then they play at a high level, and then all of a sudden you create a guy who can move to the DH spot, or you could play, or, you know, you create depth.
1-1. Livingston before this at-bat, 33 at-bats for the season, but even before the year began, Jim Schlossnagle said he will be a huge part of our team. Led Wichita State last season with 15 home runs, and Coach Schloss adds he works like an absolute savage.
Now, he's got some pull side power we've seen in stints. And, you know, and sometimes it takes hitters to get some consecutive at-bats. To just, you know you're going to be in there for 5 games in a row, 3 games in a row, so they start to feel comfortable, and they don't press. They don't start swinging at the very first thing that comes up there because they're trying to make a hit statement.
2-2 the count. Coming in, Livingston's on-base percentage .489 and his OPS .1052. 5 of his 9 hits are for extra bases, a couple of homers and 3 doubles. Got him. 2 solid innings for Curbo. He gives up the 2-out single to Duplantier, but nothing doing for Texas in the bottom of the 4th. Strong wind blowing out to left. We expected home runs tonight, Ty Harrington. We've seen 3 of them, 2 by the Bobcats.
It's that time of year when the wind's blasting out of here. Sometimes on Tuesday nights, you get different looks from different pitchers, but they haven't missed many. Both teams supplying a lot of power so far into this game.
Rashawn Galloway, Ethan Ferris, solo shots for Texas State, and Aiden Robbins, his 2-run shot in the first, cut the Texas deficit to 3-2. 10th home run of the season for Robbins to lead the team. 4-3 is the Texas State lead. And we will see Rashawn Galloway this inning on a 21-game hit streak. So Thomas Burns takes the mound for Texas. Junior from Hortonville, Wisconsin. Did not pitch in the Oklahoma series. There was never a save situation, but he has struggled as of late. You see the ERA at 6.75, the 11 walks in 8 innings of work. He does average 2 strikeouts per inning and has 3 saves on the season. But how big is it for him to have, even if it's just 1 good inning, some success on the mound after his recent struggles, including at Houston 1 week ago when he struggled as Texas lost a 7-0 lead and fell 9-7?
Well, it's real stuff. We're talking about 99 miles an hour when he's amped up, and look, nobody wants to do it any more than he does. And maybe sometimes he's trying to do it too hard. He's trying too hard. All you always used to say, you know, he's trying too hard, and you can. That's real, but just his stuff is real. And what I mean by that, it's a 97, 99 mile an hour fastball, slider cutter, and a changeup off of it. Hard to barrel up, but you're right. It's been the walks and hit batsmen. It's 13, free bases overall between walks and hit batsmen. And what a shot in arm to be. He gets it going and gets synced up and starts to deliver some confidence and execute pitches. That stuff's hard to hit.
To the fastball for strike 1. That fastball was high, and it's 1-1. The freshman right-handers coming through in the OU series: Sam Cozart, Britt Crossland, and Hayden LeFew, the lefty in the Wake Forest transfer, coming through as well in that sweep of the Sooners. But here's Burns, his first appearance in the week, and it's 2-1 now.
Hey, that's a 90 mile an hour cutter. That ain't a fast, that's a cutter. And so, I mean, again, we're just talking about how good the stuff is and can be. I mean, you start drawing up pitchers, this is what those pro guys, this is what they look like.
Foul back.
Some of it can be mechanics. Some of it can be rhythm, timing. There's so many things that go into that. Some of it can be just sheer confidence. I used to believe that pitchers that, didn't throw, maybe 89, 90 when they first got there, the more they threw, the more confidence they got, the more that arm got looser, and they would just, start pelting that strike zone with confidence. And just how critical and vital that is.
Jackson Cotton's worked the count full. Yeah, opposing batting average against Burns, 172. But it's the walks.
Stingy.
11 walks in 8 innings, and a full count now to Cotton. Well, Burns tried to go behind his back, and he kept it in front of him, on to first and in time.
Well, all right. You're going to show a little athleticism right here with a back. See a little grin on his face. Let's get another look at this ball. Cotton hits it back out, and back behind. I'm not really sure how you describe that. Back behind, between the legs kind of thing, and then watching picks it up barehanded. Doesn't go back to his glove. If he'd have gone completely back to his glove, Cotton would have outrun it. Does a good job of executing a defensive play from the mound.
And now Galloway, whose home run got the scoring started in the first. Strike call. When you're in a cold streak, maybe that ball bounces a little further away and Cotton reaches first base. See how Burns is here against Galloway with Salas on deck after making that nice play off the mound. Count is 0-2.
Well, Burns might have been saying to himself, this ain't getting by me. I'm not letting this go back up the middle. I'm going to get into a whole different kind of position to try to field this thing and then knock it down. And then you can see he's well taught about when the pitchers are taught when the ball's on the ground, infielders too, with a runner can really run. You pick it up from the ground with your bare hand. You don't go back to your glove. It takes too much time. The runner can outrun you. It's a step and a half for the runner.
.98. Count is 1-2.
Yeah, that's firm. Get a look. He goes into his glove with a splitter grip.
Got him. 2 down.
I'm not sure if this was a splitter that just hung, or was it because 87 mile an hour, it went straight down. It didn't move right to left very much. Galloway trying to hit it the other way, which he's really good at doing.
And now Salas. Singled in the first, then caught stealing. 1 for 2 today. Played at Weatherford College last season, Odessa College the year prior. Lifted to left. Will the wind take this? Back to the wall, it's gone. Home run number 7 for Salas on the year, and it's 5-3 Texas State.
Salas showing off his power and his off-field power, but also this ball gets up into the jet stream some, and I think the wind ends up helping it, not taking away from the swing, because again, he just dropped a 97 mile an hour barrel on top of him on that 97 mile an hour fastball. His barrel, as you can see, it's got the float around his neck, which is tradition to San Marcos, but ball just stayed up in the air long enough. He's got enough power, and it changes the score.
After 11 home runs in a 3-game sweep at Georgia State over the weekend, Bobcats have 3 home runs here tonight. And the Flags have looked like that since the first pitch of the game.
Well, look, you can add to the fact that, okay, yeah, the wind's blowing, but you still got to get your barrel to a 97 mile an hour fastball, and that's not normal.
Count 1-1 to Park. Reached on an error in the first of back-to-back miscues by the Texas defense. Led to an Ethan Ferris RBI single. That gave the Bobcats their 3rd run of the inning. One and 2.
Burns gets it all lined up and synced up timing wise at 95 to 97. He can get it going downhill. It's hard to recognize and hard to catch up with.
To short, Becerra on to first, and a nice scoop of it by Livingston for the final out. So Burns gives up the home run to Salas, but does not allow a walk in that top of the 5th. For the Bobcats, looking for their 5th straight win here in Austin. They lead 5-3 halfway through. #1 in the RPI as we speak. 6 teams in the RPI top 30 from non-power leagues, 3 from the Sun Belt. Texas State is at 22, Southern Miss 9, Coastal Carolina 16, and future conference foe Oregon State is at 10. Oregon State's an independent this season. Of course, Texas State in the Sun Belt, they'll both be part of the Pac-12 in baseball in 2027.
Yep, exciting times for Texas State moving into the Pac-12 and what that's going to represent for them. It was a lot just trying to even get that to that. And I credit Kelly Danfouse, the president of Texas State, done unbelievable for the university and the athletic department. Don Coryell, the athletic director, and their leadership trying to drive Texas State, to the Pac-12 and being able to make that happen. They had to come forth with a lot of resources, commitments, and ideas, and look, they've done that. It's exciting, the momentum at university, particularly in that athletic department, and what's going on.
1-1 the count to Ethan Mendoza, top of the order here in the 5th for Texas. It's about 7 years ago. I called an NIT game, and the analyst was an administrator also at a Sun Belt school. I won't name the school. And then mentioned how I lived in Austin, and he flat out said, because Texas State football and basketball at the time were struggling a bit, he says, we hope Texas State doesn't figure it out.
Yeah.
Because he knew what a gold mine, I mean, your baseball team's always solid, but he knew what a gold mine the entire athletic department could be at Texas State if they put things together. And now Pac-12, you would not have imagined saying that 7 years ago, much less even a couple of years ago.
Yeah, no, they got it going on. I mean, it's being a part of that athletic department and to see Mendoza work the wall, to see the momentum and the emphasis, right? I mean, it takes, you're going to go do something. It takes somebody at the top to say, hey, let's go do this. And you got to start trying to figure out how to do it. You don't just snap your fingers and say, hey, let's go try this thing out. I mean, there's a lot to it.
Texas State will be one of 2 Pac-12 baseball teams next season. Dallas Baptist is the other. But the only team in Texas for all the other sports. Now Carson Tinney. Walked and scored in the first. He's 0 for 1. Texas State was 101 in the RPI a couple of weeks ago. Now up to 22. Its highest since the end of that 22 season, where they were a 2 seed. Took Stanford to the final game of the Stanford Regional and fell to the Cardinal. This lifted, but not carrying. Cotton on to make the catch, 1 down. Mendoza heads back to first.
Everybody's going to hold their breath when they hear a fly ball, see a fly ball, particularly if it's going to be hit by Carson Tinney. But he got under it too much, David, and got him out front just enough that he wasn't able to get enough barrel to it as Cotton settled under it and was able to catch it. But, Texas State, they've moved in that RPI dramatically. And then one more thing with the graphics our group put out there, those top 4 teams, talking about non-mid majors, they've all 4 been to Omaha before that were listed in their RPIs and where they are today. But they've also been to Omaha, and 2 of them have won national championships with Coastal Carolina and Oregon State.
Coastal Carolina undefeated in the Sun Belt, despite key injuries, especially with their rotation.
I don't know how they're doing it. I'm going to tell you right now, they lost Fluky, their number 1. They lost their number 3. And the second most important guy on that staff is Corbone, who got hurt at the beginning of the year, and he's out for the year. And then they lost their hitter, one of their best hitters, 10 days ago, and now he's out.
Josh Blakely, Bobcat associate head coach, walks onto the mound to meet Curbo and the Bobcat infield, with Robbins representing the tying run here in the bottom of the 5th and 1 out in a 5-3 Texas State lead. Curbo had struggled in his first appearances at 2026. Very solid so far, just allowing a single and a walk in 2 1/3.
Well, when they introduced this cutter to him, and this is, he's spinning that baseball right now. He's throwing a slider and then he's throwing a cutter with it. and he's able to command the cutter, which you see a lot of college teams going to now because it is a much easier pitch for pitchers to command and be able to throw it for strike. And all you want it to do is move enough to get off the barrel. That's all you want it to do. And you're going to see these high velo cutters anywhere from 88 to 90 plus miles an hour out of these college guys' hands. And then when he goes to the true slider, Slarov, he can spin it right that. And that's hard to barrel up. That's a tight spinning breaker.
Good call there. Count now 1-1. Mendoza at first. He stole third after doubling in the second and would score in a wild pitch, which tied the game at 3. Solo shots in the 4th and 5th by Texas State have them up by 2.
This is one of those nights as a coach, you're never comfortable. A 2-run lead, 5-run lead, you just, whatever side you're on it, which doesn't matter. You just, as an offense, you know you got hope, and as a guy leading it, you're like, oh my gosh, they got aluminum bats and the wind's blowing out.
Sky high. Park calls off Bowles and makes the catch. 2 down.
Dawson Park doing a good job as the shortstop, the commander in the infield. As you've got the deep command call over all the infielders, third baseman and your second baseman. This ball was back medium center field, and he immediately called Bowles off. Back there made a nice grab.
That's his third putout.
Yeah, and tonight's not an easy night for fly balls. That wind affects them.
One of those 3 putouts off the bat of Pack in the 3rd. Back at the plate for the 3rd time. Texas State opponents are 30 of 38 stealing bases this season, and Mendoza's steal of 3rd, making him 6 for 6 this year. Nice lead off first. First pitch to Pack. 0-1.
I think they've been equally as opportunistic stealing 3rd as 2nd. They do a good job with it. They studied. They know the pitcher's leg kicks, timing. They get in there and base running wise, pay attention to it.
To second, Bowles. On to first, and heck of an outing out of the bullpen by Dylan Curbo, just allowing a single and a walk in 3 scoreless innings of work. Bobcats up 5-3. Rawls is the 4th pitcher used by Jim Schlossnagle and staff here tonight. Freshman from McKinney, Texas. His 6th appearance of the year. See the ERA at 7.56. He does have 11 strikeouts and 8 of them in a 3rd innings of work.
Well, David, it's a really hard, boring fastball. I mean, it's a plus 90 fastball with a slider, cutter, occasional change with it. to see this guy get a couple more opportunities. He's going to get tonight. You got a compressed week, back-to-back compressed weeks, mind you, for the University of Texas, coming off of last week where they had the OU series bumped to a Thursday and had a compressed week on that Tuesday game coming off with U of H. And then you come back, and then you got another compressed week moving forward. Tuesday here, Thursday with it being Easter week as they travel to South Carolina.
Texas State dominated by Texas 3 weeks ago. Longhorns won 15-4. The Bobcat offense has come through, especially with their power numbers here tonight. 3 home runs, including solo shots in the 4th and the 5th, to give them this 5-3 lead. The former Longhorn Jaquay Stewart leads off the 6th, and the first batter for Brody Walls to face. Stewart doubled in the first. As you see, again, those offensive numbers, just the 1 home run 3 weeks ago as the Longhorns dominated from the top of the first on. But 8 home runs in 1 game. That was Friday at Georgia State. And in the series opener the weekend before at Louisiana, 8 home runs. Dive by Livingston, playing first base today with Borba moved over to third and makes the play to Walls for out number 1.
Makes a good play. He can fully extend dive to try to get to it and knock it down. Does get to his glove. We get another look at this. Stewart hits his ball good, stays with it. Now watch him option like a quarterback, just flipping it over to Walls covering first base. It's a good defensive play.
Yeah, Jim Schlossnagle told you a couple of innings ago when we talked to him, maybe it's not the most ideal thing to move so many players in the infield to different positions with the injury to Adrian Rodriguez. But Livingston, Borba, Becerra, all with experience at their respective positions. Last season, Livingston 20 starts at first base at Wichita State. Of course, Borba 45 starts at third base here, and Becerra at Stanford 51 starts at short.
Well, you could probably add in more than that 51 for Becerra in his career. That's
Sure.
a year ago, right? I mean, he's had a lot of reps, and there is a comfort level for him. And Borba, Casey Borba, it probably at some point was a shortstop as well, and they moved him to third, and then I thought he mastered moving over to first base. That's 2 years in a row Texas has taken a guy from a different position, moved him over to first base. That ball got him.
Ferris will move over to first.
And they've done an outstanding job of making them shoot, elite defenders. At first, Schussler did it last year. By the years midstream, I was like, my God, this guy's like he's been playing it his whole life. Borba, same thing, moved over this year and made the transition to first well.
So Ferris, whose home run gave Texas State a 4-3 lead in the 4th, hit by the pitch. He's reached base all 3 times, and now Namkin, Texas State catcher, fouls off the first offering right into the hand of his head coach, Stephen Trout.
Another 5 more years, Coach Trout won't go try to make that play. He'll finally he'll surrender that play and just point at it somebody else and let somebody else go get it or something.
Even that one, that was a slow roller.
It don't matter. At some point in time, you finally just keep your hands in your pocket or walk the other way and just keep moving.
0-2 the count. What about putting your foot in front of it?
It's even
Is that
worse.
okay? Even worse.
It's even worse. If you miss it, you get laughed at, and if you step on it, you put it too hard, and you roll over on your ankle, then you got to explain that to somebody.
Are you speaking from experience?
Yeah, yeah. Man, it's interesting. I was looking at Wall's stuff. At left-handed hitters, I mean, they're only hitting 143. It's the right-handed hitters are hitting 300. And I'm watching this sweep and breaker. That if he can get command of these things, these right-handed hitters, that's got to be a tough pitch on them because it covers so much distance. It's an 87-mile-an-hour cutter, but he's got that bigger breaker that you can assume is tough on right-handed hitters because it probably starts out behind their left shoulder and then comes all the way back across because he's on the third base side of the rubber to begin with.
Call strike 3. Nankin down looking, 2 down.
We get another look. Walls is on the third base side of the rubber, all the way over. Now watch him throw this ball back across the plate, creating a really tough angle for right-handed hitters.
Good frame by Tenney as well. So here's Chase Mora. 0 for 2 today. 213 hits in his Texas State career, including 35 home runs. That is one back of the great Paul Goldschmidt. Longtime major leaguer, 2022 NL MVP with St. Louis. 45 doubles in Mora's career as well.
Well, I'm going to say something about Goldie and what Goldie did it in basically 2.5 years. His freshman year, he broke his hamate bone. Not to take anything away from what Chase has done, it's been unbelievable. His first time he stepped in the box at Texas State, he started, I think he had 4 home runs in a game or something like that, which was ridiculous. But Goldie got hurt his freshman year and only played half the year, and only maybe had 1 home run, maybe 2. And then his sophomore and junior year, he's just incredible. And continues on. He's playing tonight for the Yankees.
1-2. Yeah, Mora's the first player in NCAA college baseball history to hit a home run in his first 3 collegiate plate appearances. That was against North Dakota State. He then flew out in the 6th, and then he hit another home run. So 4 home runs in the same game. His first 4 hits in a Bobcat uniform. 9 runs batted in as well. Not a bad day. Mora goes down there off of Walls. Ferris is left. Now can the Texas Bats come through? They're down 5-3. Timmons is the new pitcher for Texas State, senior from Grand Prairie, Texas, making his 6th appearance of the season. ERA of 7.36. He has walked 7 in 3 2/3 innings, but has struck out 9. He did appear last year in the game in Austin through a scoreless inning, and the Texas State win their 4th straight in Austin over the Longhorns. Casey Borba to lead off the bottom of the 6th. You see his improvement. 9 home runs, on pace to eclipse his 12 from last season, batting .333, including 31 runs batted in.
Right below all those stats, you could write experience, sees lots of pitches, doesn't panic, a lot of different things that create great hitters, along with having power, works at it. Loves to work at this game. Look, came from a baseball family. We've all talked about it 100 times. Dad's a great coach and works with Team California. I mean, a guy likes to play baseball. I mean, versatility. Watch him. He always has a confident look in his face. He carries himself with confidence. Even when things don't go his way, he always carries himself in that air of, I've got confidence and I can do this.
Maybe a sign of things to come involving his power last year in the regional. 2 home runs, 8 runs batted in the win over Kansas State. Ball 1 from Timmons, but saw the average, 333 coming into today. Now down to 330, he is 0 for 1. Jim Schlossnagle says he's becoming a better hitter to the opposite field. But what that's also meant is that when he pulls the ball, more of those balls are fair than they were in his previous seasons.
Sure. But people don't understand, if you're around the game, you get a better understanding of it. When you pull balls foul and it's your best ball, pitcher's going, thank you. You can't keep it fair, right? And that's the ability to get the barrel in position to keep your best swings fair. And you'll see left-handed pitchers throw breakers into right-handed hitters, and if they got a hook swing, guess what? They're going to wear out the coaching third base and the stands over there, and everybody's going to go, oh my God, he really hit that one. Yeah, it's strike 2, by the way, now. But you got to be able to keep them fair and have an approach that allows you to do that, which is what you were describing that Coach Schlossnagle was talking about, bringing in the other side of the field and what coaches preach all the time, which is that gap-to-gap swing.
Shift is on with the second baseman Bowles to the left of the second base bag from our vantage point. 2-2, ripped, left center field, long gone. He continues his best season at the plate as a Longhorn with his 10th bore bomb, and he cuts the Texas State lead to 5-4.
You're going to watch this. I mean, he just gets absolutely after this, elevated like a fastball. He passed, didn't swing at the one before, waited till he got something he could drive out of there. Watch this right here at the top of the strike zone. Uses that top hand to get the barrel to it, and I mean just crushes this ball to left field.
443 feet. And we thought those fans out there would have a chance at multiple balls, and that's the 5th home run overall, 2nd by Texas, all the left or left center. He and Aiden Robbins came in with 9 homers on the year to lead the team. They both have their 10th tonight.
I'm just talking about him as a hitter, and you saw the stats, you saw, just talking about his improvement as a hitter. To me, it's, yeah, the swing, the power, keeping balls fair, all those things coming inside, but that experience and the value of how he uses his experience. He doesn't let it go by the wayside. He doesn't just say, oh, I've had 300 at-bats, but I haven't learned anything. He uses the value of what experience can mean. Look at him. He's in there talking about the pitch right now. He's ready. He'll talk about it a little bit. You're not going to see him go crazy in there, and he's going to move on and go get ready to play third base.
He and Ethan Mendoza are roommates, and they both talked even before the season about the even greater responsibility they were feeling as two of the more experienced Longhorns now, and both have come through with awfully good 2026 seasons so far. Becerra fouls this off. Still a 1-2 count. He singled in the first, but was left on base, 1 for 2 today. Had a 3-run blast in the 9th inning in San Marcos 3 weeks ago to cap the scoring in the 15-4 win. That's his last home run. He has 5 on the year. Just a bit outside.
Yeah, and that's not his game. I mean, I think everybody was excited about it. He hit the home runs early, hit Minute Maid, Daikin Park now I think is what it's called. I just probably aged myself. But anyway, but his ability to make contact and hit ground balls, get to the top of the baseball and hit line drives. He doesn't try to go to the bottom of the baseball as much. He's going to try to center it and then be able to use all sides of the field. And he's got good eye-hand coordination.
By the way, back to Borba's home run. Media relations extraordinaire Josh White telling us out of his 10 home runs, 9 have come this month, including 3 against the Bobcats. 2-2 the count to Becerra. And he's worked the count full.
And tonight, that's a dangerous spot to miss for these pitchers. You saw it happen to being when he missed what looked like a changeup or something off speed and hit the homer. If you're going to go up there and then Borba, the last hitter, that mask area is not your target right now.
Becerra works the walk.
It's an over at bat right there too. That ball's below the, just at the bottom, below the strike zone. And David, a lot of young hitters swing at this because they don't want to strike out. They've been told, don't strike out. We always said two-strike approach, don't strike out. And that's a pitch that probably 90% of the hitters are going to go try to hit because they don't want to strike out. And you know what they're going to do? They're going to ground ball to the shortstop, and they're going to be in the dugout right now with one out.
But for Becerra, this is 28th start of 2026. 143 starts the last 2.5 years when you include those 2 years at Stanford.
Yep. A lot of baseball. There's no, don't ever kid yourself, there's no substitute in the world if you're going to play a sport, but particularly this one, to live reps, live game at-bats, ground balls, fly balls, you name it.
Soft toss to first. Becerra easily back. Ashton Larson's 0 for 2 and now at the plate. Larson 2 for 8 against lefties this season. Strike call.
Turned out to be a nice crowd out here again tonight too. Not that it wasn't going to be again. There'll be a lot of Texas State fans pile in here as well.
It's foul. Good effort by Ferris. Count is 0-2. Texas will be home next Tuesday against Incarnate Word. Their next 2 SEC series on the road. They'll start in Columbia at South Carolina Thursday. Then after the game against Incarnate Word, Texas A&M in College Station, April 10th, 11th, and 12th. That may get a little loud. Jim Schlossnagel's return to College Station.
Yeah, it's going to be loud, or louder. It's always loud, but it's going to probably be louder. I guess would probably be the right way to say it. I'm assuming that's the right a word.
Aggies 5-4 in conference play. They swept Missouri last weekend. Oh, Timmons took something off, and Larson goes down on 3 pitches.
Timmons doing a good job, as you just said, taking a little bit more off that breaker. He's thrown some 83-mile-an-hour breakers. It's a little bit off this, goes to the extension side, where if you, best you're going to be able to do if as a hitter, if you do swing at it, is to foul it off. And he gets a big strikeout.
Now Duplantier. Of course, he hits from the right side, but just 3 for 19 against lefties this year. 1-0.
Well, Duplantier is another one of those guys that's been in the organization and in the program for a while. In and out of lineups, played, I don't know if he's played every position except for pitcher and catcher, but the ultimate team guy. I'll do whatever it's got to take.
Runner going, throw on down, and Becerra has a stolen base.
Becerra doing a good job getting a good read off of Timmons. Once he got that kind of jump, it was going to be tough for Nampkin to get the ball down to second accurately to throw him out. But going back to Duplantier, look, there are a lot of guys that just say, I'm going to go do something else or go. And they have that right. That's the way college athletics is set up now. But guys hung in here in this program, loves this university, to get a degree from here, and his brother both, who was older, who played here, and now he finds himself as an everyday player. Point is, hang in there, place you love, and you keep working at it hard enough. It's a lesson for a lot of people. You might find yourself in a lineup one way or another if you put the effort and the time in, and he has.
But just go back to March 21st, 3-run home run at Auburn, first of his career. And the Longhorns needed it, a 7-6 win.
He's really developed as a hitter. I think when he first got here, he was just, using his speed to try to create his offense. But he has good long at-bats now. I think he's a little more poised about his strike zone recognition.
He already has more starts this year than last, and almost as many games played as in 2025. Count is now full.
I'm anxious to see what Timmons is going to go at him with now. He's got the count back to 3-2 in an RBI situation with the runner at second with Becerra.
Duplantier works the walk. First and second, one out. Duplantier the go-ahead run in a game in which Texas has not led.
We're going to see a pinch hitter. I think it's Mansour coming in for Livingston.
It's Mansour, the freshman from Carrollton, Georgia, 6 for 19 this season, but with 3 walks. He has 6 runs batted in. And we'll see if Texas State goes to the bullpen. Josh Blakely comes out.
And they made the sign and made the indication that they were.
That will do it for Timmons as the Bobcats go to the pen. 5-4 Texas State, bottom of the 6th, but the Longhorns have 2 runners on. SEC continuing to dominate 6 straight years. National champions coming out of this league. Of course, LSU in 2025. At least one team's made the final 16 of the last 17 seasons, and the SEC has the last 3 Golden Spikes Award winners for the best player in college baseball.
I mean, I don't know what people get tired of hearing about it, but it's the best conference in baseball. I mean, they got, and you know what? If you can say it's not and believe whatever you want to believe, but when you got stuff like that to back it up and awards to back it up, I mean, it's hard to argue from top to bottom. Not maybe the first couple, but from top to bottom, the success and the strength of the SEC.
I mean, there's been multiple occasions where both teams in the championship series was from the SEC. 13 finals appearances the last 10 College World Series in Omaha, 7 titles in the rest of Division I, 7 appearances in the final, and 3 titles. Of course, last year, Texas became the first team to win the SEC regular season in its first season in the league since the league's inaugural campaign in 1933. Longhorns, one of 3 teams tied for first in 2026 in league play at 7-2, but they have not won a midweek game in 3 weeks when they went to San Marcos, knocked off Texas State 15-4. So the first 3 pitchers for the Bobcats, not very much used this season, but not the case for Cade Smith. Team leader in appearances. This is his 12th in 21 2/3 innings pitched. Look at that last one there, 17 strikeouts, no walks.
That's a goose egg, is what that is. That is 0. He is a strike throwing machine. That's what he has been. And not overwhelming. It's good. It's really good stuff, but not 97, 98 miles an hour. It's fastball, breaker, slider change. But he lives on the edge when he's right.
And freshman Mansour is behind 0-2. Previous 2 seasons, Smith played at New Mexico Junior College and was a starter. He only played in 3 games last season, walked 3 in 11 2/3.
I'm going to go with he was hurt. You asked that question. I don't know for sure, but he has been their guy out of the bullpen if it's in the first 7 innings. He came in against Louisiana 2 weekends ago and threw the ball on the first base side of home plate 60 times without, I mean, it was just like he had a funnel throwing that thing right into that same spot with his fastball and his breaker, and the Cajuns couldn't do anything with it.
Yeah, that was March 21st. He got the win in an 11-4 victory. 4 2/3 innings, allowed 2 hits, no walks, struck out 7. Lifted to left. Going back is Stewart, shy of the track, makes the grab. And there's 2 down.
He gets him out in front, gets him underneath this breaker. I think a lot of the fans thought like they've been all night for ball goes up in the air that may get out of here, but he got underneath that breaker and popped it up.
So Ethan Mendoza was in a slump, hitless in 4 games before the Oklahoma series began, 0 for 16, but hit safely in all 3 games over the weekend, and here he comes through again to right center. Becerra scores. Duplantiers being rounder on third in the front of the plate, not in time. Texas leads.
Well, this is just an outstanding job by Ethan Mendoza coming up with a hit. Outfielders are up just a little bit. He hits it. I mean, you can't place this any better on the line as they both got to get after it. And then Duplantier just absolutely shows off his speed as he comes from first base all the way around to score. Look at this, right just over the second baseman's head, all right? Right fielder's going to converge on it and get it and get to it, and Duplantier just gets his right hand in at home plate for the second RBI. Mendoza's is double.
He continues his hot play since his slump. 3rd straight time he has reached base. Texas leads for the first time tonight. A 3 spot here in the bottom of the 6th. Carson Tinney 0 for 2 with a walk and a run scored. Another one to the opposite way. This falls into right. Mendoza rounding third. He'll score 7-5.
Everybody better look out. This guy starts driving the ball to right field, too. We all know he's got power pull side into center field. He's shown that. And he catches this breaker going away from him, sits on it long enough. You get another look at this. Watch this. Breaker set out there, elevated on the outer half of the plate. Doesn't try to pull it, goes with it. Comes up with an RBI single.
21st RBI of the year. He had 4 in the sweep of Oklahoma. 8th man to come to the plate this inning is Aiden Robbins. Another hit to the opposite way. On his way to third is Tinney. Runners on the corners. Jim Schlossnagle, before the season began, said, I've never had so many hitters who could hit the opposite way so well. Many of them have come through here in the 4-run 6th.
Well, and what they're also doing, David, is they're swinging early in the count. Why? 0 walks. So they know he's going to be in the strike zone. Whether it's a fastball or a slider, they know he's around the zone. So they're going up there with a lot more aggressive minded. Now, on this base hit, Carson T does a good job of going to third base. Never hesitated as he got into scoring position on that base hit that was back up the middle.
A Texas offense that the last 2 midweek games struggled mightily. Total of 5 hits. 8 so far tonight. And a 4 spot here in the 6th for a 7-5 lead. Offense was good last season. Much better so far in 2026. 4th in the SEC, coming in just under 9 runs a game. 4th also in batting average. 43 home runs as well in a park that, well, unless the wind's blowing out as hard as it is to left today, it's hard to hit the ball out of here.
Yeah, and to me, if you start looking at the fourth rank, 8.7 runs a game, they're all important, but that's going to grab my attention along with they're able to create offense running. The stolen bases are fourth, and then obviously their OPS. And so it shows you the balance of that offense, not just a couple of hitters, not just top heavy in their lineup.
Texas averaged 7 runs a game last year, 8.7 so far this season. Pack, 9th man to the plate this inning. 1-0 with Smith remains on the hill for Texas State. Three two-out hits by the top of the order. Mendoza, Tinney, and Robbins. Driving in 3 runs.
Well, and good base running as well. Plantier showing off his speed. There's no substitute for him. You can go from first to third on a line drive. The second baseman jump for.
Another hit the opposite way. Pack comes through. And the ball gets away from the shortstop Park. Sliding safely is Robbins. 9-5.
Last 3 hits for Texas have been opposite field line drives, meaning they're sitting in there long enough, getting a long look at it, maybe sitting slider, but certainly looking, David, for something away from them. Not in. Look at this. This ball's going to be away. Pack goes with it. Same thing the at-bat before. Carson Tinney did the same thing. Robbins did the same thing. And then you see a little mistake getting it in, allowing Texas to score Robbins and then also moving Pack in the scoring position.
This inning started with a Casey Borba solo shot. He's at the plate again. His 10th home run of the year to get this 6-run frame started. Pack in scoring position with 2 down. 0-2.
That's a good pitch. That's where Cade Smith's trying to throw the ball. He wants the ball down and away. He wants you to either swing at it when it's at the kneecap area, ground it out, or pop it out. I'm sorry, pop it up, I should say, not pop it out, but that one overhung, and it just kept it backed up. That was a hanger. Got Borba out front. There was no way he was going to keep that one fair.
Pack at second, officially a single, and then an E8 to move him over to second and to score Robbins, an unearned run. To short, Park. And that'll do it in the bottom of the 6th. A 6-run 6th, and number 6, Anthony Pack Jr. comes through with a single to cap it off. Jaden Duplantier and company up for the first time, 9-5. hold off Texas State tonight, and then tomorrow they'll head to Columbia, where the start of a 3-game set will be Thursday, 7 Eastern, SEC Network, Longhorns, and Gamecocks. South Carolina going through a coaching change 10 days ago. Paul Mainieri stepping down, and their hitting coach Monty Lee now the interim head coach. So Texas #1 in the RPI, but UCLA ranked #1. Bruins are 25-2 and 12-0 in the Big Ten. But when you compare both resumes, Bruins with more runs per game, but Texas the better ERA. Of course, better RPI. Many more games against the RPI top 25. Longhorns 8-2, Bruins just 2-0.
I had a chance to watch those guys early in the year as Ethan Walker's come out for Texas now to watch UCLA, and they played one of the best baseball games I've watched in a long time against Mississippi State at Globe Life. And I mean, they're a really good baseball team without making it sound obvious. This ball's flown out to right field.
Duplantier makes the grab. Brady Bowles is out #1 in the 7th.
Yeah, they've moved Maddox now at the left, and they've moved Becerra. It's like he's moved over to third.
Yeah, Mendoza at short, Duplantier at second, and Borba at first. So thank you. That is Mansour in right.
Scorebook looks like a coloring book now all of a sudden.
Yeah, there's 5 changes. So Becerra at third, Mendoza short, Duplantier second, Borba first, Mansour in right, Pack and Robbins remain in left and center, and Tinney still the catcher. So Walker coming in, junior from Ashburn, Virginia. Just 1 unearned run allowed in 11 appearances spanning 9 innings. Top of the order, and Jackson Cotton, who's 0 for 3. He rips this to right, off the wall, as Mansour crashes into the wall. Cotton stands at second for a double. Mansour up and looks okay.
Oh, Jackson Cotton lands all over this baseball and drives it out to right field. When he hit it, I thought it was out of here. And we get a look at this. I mean, the ball stayed middle in. He blasted, and then sort of like he's going to run through the wall to try to catch this thing. Tremendous effort trying to get out there after it, but ball hit the top of the wall for a double.
And so here's Rashawn Galloway. Extended his hit streak to 21 with a solo shot in the first to get the scoring started. He's 1 for 3 tonight. 41 hits in his last 21 games. Batting average now up to 397. Came in 72 points better than any other full-time starter.
You could see he was upset with himself. He didn't let that ball hit him. The guy's trying to get on base too, trying to, just came off of a double, but guy likes to try to find any way he can to help his team.
Down 0-2-0. His back's to us, but now he turns around. See the gloves?
Oh yeah,
those are workers' gloves.
Workers' gloves.
Said he knew someone in high school who used them, and he liked how they felt. And 3-0 now the count.
You don't see Ethan Walker fall into too many 3-0 counts. What he likes to do in these right-handed hitters, he likes to use that two-seamer running away, and then that breaker coming back underneath them towards their back foot.
Strike call.
And that's his MO right there. Right out there on the edge of the plate. Right at that kneecap level makes you as a right-handed hitter have to make a decision if you can keep your bat speed up to get down there and get it.
Ripped to left center. That'll drop in front of Robbins. Cotton comes around to score. Galloway's on his way to second. Slides in head first with an RBI double. Texas State's cut the deficit to 9-6.
Get a look at the type of hitter he is. He is a gap hitter. We talked about him getting the barrel flush to the baseball and flush to the middle part of the field. Watch this right here. gets his hand, slides his hands inside his baseball, and drives it right back up the middle for an RBI double.
31 RBIs on the season, second on the Bobcats, and here they come. After Texas took the lead with a 6-run sixth, a run in, still one out. It's the first earned run allowed by Walker this year. And now Salas, who homered in the fifth. That gave Texas State a 5-3 lead at the time.
And that's Galloway's 14th double on the year as well. I assume that's going to rank somewhere in the top in the country.
This to left center. Robbins on the run, and he can't make the play. And then mishandles the ball as Galloway's going to be rounded around third and score. It's 9-7.
The third straight double for Texas State. It looked like Robbins might have a chance to catch this ball. It was hit hard enough that it was going to be 50-50 whether he could get to it. The fence, as fast as he was going, the fence was getting obviously that much closer to him. As we get another look at this, Salas doing a good job of staying on that breaker, running away from him, David. Now watch, he's closing in on this ball hard. That fence, he knows it's getting close. Wasn't quite able to come up what would have been a tremendous catch, as that ball was hit hard.
Boosh, you hear from the Bobcat fans who would like to see Walker remain on the hill, but he will come out. And so again, not allowing an earned run until tonight. But so far, 2 in for Texas State. Tying run about to come to the plate as they have cut the Texas lead to 9-7. Aiden Robinson company looking to hold on here. In relief with a runner on second and the tying run about to come to the plate for Texas State. Freshman from Phoenix has been brilliant in his first season on the 40 acres, an ERA of 1.64. Look at the walk to strikeout ratio, 2 walks, 17 strikeouts in 11 innings of work. He threw 2 1/3 scoreless innings on Saturday as Texas swept Oklahoma.
Well, part of that 17 strikeouts, the 2 walks, is that overhand breaker he throws. It's hard on right and or left-handed hitters, doesn't matter. I mean, it is a real breaker. And at times the old adage, it's like a 12-6 breaker. It is. For freshmen, had pretty good poise so far this year for Texas out of the bullpen.
We talked about how Texas's offense has improved this year compared to 2025. Texas State, especially the last few weeks, total breakout. They have 3 home runs tonight to give them 49, more than all of last season. But it's not just that. They're hitting .292. They're best in the Sun Belt in slugging percentage at .524.
That's a lot of offense. No, the batting average isn't. I mean, you're going to see teams that hit 300. I mean, in the Sun Belt, but what is that 300? What's the quality of that 300? Meaning, what is the, the double homer? What is the value of it? Per base and RBI. right now. Their offense is on a heater and has been for a couple of weeks.
Bobcats winners of 7 straight coming in. Dawson Park fouls the first offering from Crossland back, 0-1. That 7-game win streak, the longest for Texas State since 2022 when the Bobcats won 47 games. Took Stanford to the final game of its regional as a 2 seed, but Stanford would hold on. 3 road wins for Texas State this season, all coming last weekend at Georgia State.
Yeah, they came out of that Louisiana series with some confidence, and they'd had a tough week. And I'm going to, after this pitch, I'll say that ball gets by Tenney.
Gets by Tenney, and on his way to third is Salas.
You don't see that very often. That talks about just how tough that breaker is. We were talking about that 12-6 breaker that he throws, but Texas State was coming off of getting swept at Monroe, which traditionally, as it turned out, Monroe's good. Traditionally hasn't happened. They lose one of their best pitchers, the Moore kid, who is their number 2 guy, who ultimately may have ended up their number 1, who's a true talent. He goes down with an injury, not going to be able to pitch it. And so it looked like things are getting sideways, and they pull it together.
Grounder to Planty at second. This will score the run. On to Borba to first. An RBI for Park. 3 in the inning for Texas State. They've cut the Texas lead to 9-8.
Well, the defense tonight has been unusually not up to the standards of what Texas normally plays. Both of these teams play really good defense, but fielding at 980, which is above average in Division I baseball. But now getting a taste or an idea of what it looks like, I should say, with Duplantier playing second. Becerra at third, moving him over now in the shift. And Mendoza playing. And so you get a different look at Texas's defense and what they're going to have to deal with till A-Rod gets back.
Now the former Longhorn Jaquay Stewart at the plate with 2 down. That was officially ruled a pass ball, which allowed Salas to go to third, then scoring on the ground out. His hit ruled a double, although Robbins had trouble with it in left center. Big cut, 1-1.
Yeah, I thought that was a double. I did. That ball was hit hard enough.
Okay.
Robbins had to go a long ways to get it. And his skill level and speed level allowed him to get close to that ball and almost allowing him to make that catch.
Line foul. 1-2.
Crossland, it's a 96-mile-an-hour downhill fastball. And I mean by downhill, he gets his hand up above his ear, and it's coming down at a tough angle for hitters to match that barrel of the plane of that, or the angle that baseball is coming in with the plane of your barrel.
Stewart awaits the 1-2. Grounder, Borba. He'll take it himself, and that'll do it. In the top of the 7th, Texas State responds to the 6-run Texas 6 with 3 runs in the top of the 7th. Will stretch with the Longhorns up 9-8. Texas coming to the plate in the bottom of the 7th after a 6-run sixth. 10 came to the plate. Casey Borba got it started with a solo shot.
More times than not, when you get a rally start, it starts with a single or double, not a homer, but he just rips the Band-Aid off immediately with a homer. Then this line drive to Ethan Mendoza, just right in between the two outfielders, and the hustling and the speedy Duplantier able to score, and then Pack on top of that. The majority of the hits that inning, with the exception of Borba's, were up the middle and the other way.
Six runs on 5 hits, 5 RBIs in that 6th inning after Texas was limited to 4 hits in the first 5. And so now new pitcher for Texas State is Keller Eberle, junior from Maitland, Florida, an ERA of 0, but this is just his 3rd appearance of the season. See the 1 1/3 innings pitched, allowing 1 hit, 1 walk, striking out 2. Tama Becerra, first pitch foul. Walked, stole second, and would later score on that 6-run sixth. Singled in the first. He is 1 for 2. Larson and Duplantier to follow. Well, another spirited game between these two squads. Last time Texas defeated Texas State here, 2022. Both teams have won 4 straight on the road in this series. It's a 3rd handled by Mora, 1 down.
Yeah, that's a good play, but Mora, that ball was hit hard by Becerra on this turf, and then dirt too when I say this. That drop that right knee down, make sure it doesn't go underneath it. Get another look at Moore's a really accurate thrower as well. Watch him go down, just keep it right in front of you. Agile enough to get back up to his feet and accurate with his throw.
Ashton Larson 0 for 3. Eberle is the 5th pitcher used by Texas State here today. Longhorns have used 6. That's line foul.
Just had that feel when you're coming up to the ballpark today, and I know I certainly did too, with the way the wind was setting up. You got a compressed week for both of these teams. No one pitcher's going to get, used a lot, because you got the weekend series coming up that you feel like this game may go back and forth with a lot of offense.
Good take. It's 2-1.
I do think some of the offense could have been negated a little bit by the defensive side of the baseball. Both these teams are so good defensively.
Count now full. Texas is 9 runs on 9 hits, 1 error. Texas State 8 runs, 10 hits, and 1 error. The error for Texas coming in the first. Fly ball to left center. Went off the glove of Aiden Robbins. 2 of the 3 runs in the first for Texas State unearned off Max Grubbs, who thus right into the Texas dugout.
Well, it looks like everybody's all right. I don't see anybody running. No trainers running down there. So Tulo looking back to make sure everybody's all right. Dugouts, you better be on call, because you don't know. You get down those things, it gets fast in there. Those foul balls are come crawling in there.
Call strike 3. 2 down.
This looked like a fastball. know if it was right in the middle. He got a little bit surprised. I think he was looking for something secondary.
So now Duplantier started the game in right field, now at second base. Walked and scored in the 6-run sixth, singled in the fourth. So remember, as we go down the stretch here, Crossland, the last pitcher we saw for Texas. But the Longhorns begin their 3-game set at South Carolina Thursday. So one less day of rest than usual. Line foul. So we'll see who Jim Schlossnagle goes to in the 8th. There's no one warming up in the Texas bullpen right now. So we think
they got it. Yeah, I think they'll stick with Crossland. And again, whoever you use tonight, you slide to Friday.
Base hit into right center. Duplantier takes the big turn. He's on his way to second, and he'll slide in safely. The ball went in and out of the glove of Cotton. And Duplantier is in scoring position with 2 outs.
Duplantier hits this ball. He's going to second base. Watch this right here. Watch this full-out sprint. I'm not going to stop. A little bit of look with his eyes. Look at him running with his eyes over. You're a young baseball player. You've got to be able to run with your head on a swivel and keep an eye on a baseball to make the right decision. You don't rely on base coaches. You rely on yourself to see what that looks like and your speed.
And so the freshman Mansour with a chance to drive in Duplantier with the team's 10th run. See his batting average at 300. See pinch hit for Josh Livingston in the 6th. Duplantier stays at second, count is 1-1. Mansour 6 for 20 this season with a triple, 6 runs batted in. Coming in, his on-base percentage was .409. Runner going, and Duplantier will stand at third with a stolen base.
He was timing him up the first 2 pitches. Really going to a high leg kick, 1 check, meaning look back at the runner. Sometimes it's third base when that happens, David. You don't go to the bag because then you don't want to give up your territory, possibly trying to cover third, and they hit a ground ball down the third baseline.
Count is 2-1 to Mansour.
And what I mean by that, recognizing that you're not going to throw the guy out at third. He had 2 great jump, which is what Duplantier had right there.
Officially, Duplantier singled, moved to second on an E8. After the stolen base, 90 feet away from home. 3-1 the count to Mansour.
That looked like a splitter. Ball out of the strike zone and a 3-1 count with a base open. Now as a hitter, you don't know. He's throwing you a splitter on 3-1.
That's foul back. Here's the payoff. Got him. Eberle comes back from being behind to the count 3-1. And he keeps Texas off the board in the bottom of the 7th. Duplantier left on third. 9-8 Longhorns. Eberle comes through, striking out Mansour. Texas still up just 1. defeated a top 2 team in the regular season since 2014, a dozen years ago. Just down 1 to Texas as we head to the 8th, and the Longhorns looking to avoid a 5th consecutive loss to the Bobcats here at home. With Ty Harrington, I'm David Salzman. And when we saw in the bottom of the 7th, no one in the pen, I figured Brett Crossland would get the 8th, and here he is. There is one defensive change. Darian Pendergrass now in right for Mansour. Strike call to Ethan Ferris, who's reached base all 3 times he's been to the plate tonight. RBI single in the 1st. Solo shot to lead off the 4th, hit by a pitch in the 6th. This is his 10th game of the year. He has 6 home runs. But behind in the count, 0-2.
There's that big breaker, that 12-6 breaker that a lot of breakers go right to left if you're a right-handed pitcher. This one almost like it just tumbles straight down. And out of that arm action again, where that turns his head just to the side a little bit, and that right hand comes straight out or straight over the top.
Now 1-2. Clayton Namkin, the Bobcat catcher, on deck with Chase Morin, his 35 career home runs. 2 up 3rd here in the 8th. Now 2-2.
Yeah, that's tough to lay off right there. He chased one early in the sequence, a second pitch on that breaker. Now with 2 strikes, he doesn't. That ball starts out visually for the hitters as a possible strike. It's just got such a big break to it.
It's fouled off. There's Ferris's solo shot in the 4th. This gave Texas State the lead at 4-3.
He crushed that ball, but that was a hanging secondary or off-speed pitch. Couldn't tell if it was a breaker that backed up or a changeup, but a good swing on it.
That was off Cade Bing, the only hit he allowed in 3 innings. From 0-2 to 3-2.
Yeah, that's a good take. That's a fastball, 95-mile-an-hour fastball after 4 straight breakers. He tries to freeze him with a fastball, takes it, ball was in off the plate to extend the at-bat.
To 3rd, Becerra. Scooped up by Borba, 1 down.
Becerra stays with it. He fields his ball with 2 hands below him. Watch it. It's a good break. Now watch him field it. He's got 2 hands right there, kind of tucked away from him. I think the spin of the ball took him out of his throwing rhythm and fielding rhythm, but he still comes up with a good enough throw to allow Borba to pick it.
Becerra started the game at short, now at 3rd, and Borba started the game at 3rd, over to 1st, combining for a good first out. Now Namkin, the catcher. 1 for 3 with a single.
It's a defensive chess game right now with Coach Schlossnagle with A-Rod out, having to move different guys around. 1, maybe trying to see what it looks like, but 2, through the offensive side of it, Linz, this is what, you know, he has moves he can do. And again, sometimes people got to remember Duplantier came here as an infielder too, and now he's made himself a really good outfielder, but a more than qualified infielder. That's how he started his career here.
Strike call. 2-1.
2 freshmen getting after it right here with Namkin and Crossland.
Namkin 4 home runs on the season. 15 runs batted in. Big cut, 2-2. Tension has been building here at Disch Falk Field the last few innings. You can feel it from the crowd.
It's a 96-mile-an-hour fastball. It was timed up by Namp. When you foul them back sometimes, it means you're at least on time. You just got to the bottom of it. Got a lot of different options now. Crossland does as to how he wants to go after it. Since he threw the 2-2 fastball, does he double up on the fastballs or go to that big overhand breaker?
Another full count. Crossland and fellow freshman Sam Cozart, two freshmen with high leverage innings these last few weeks. To right in front of Pendergrass. A one-out single for Namkin, representing the tying run.
Yeah, that's Namkin's second hit. Line drive to right field tonight. Sticking with the same approach. Opening up all sides of the field. When you're going to hit the ball the other way, you got to do a good job with your top hand and keeping that barrel even to the baseball as you're going down through it or just above it. It's a nice piece of hitting from the freshman.
Well, Chase Mora due up. And not many situations, if any, that he has not seen.
Yeah, they're going to run Munguia for Namkin. Munguia will stay in the game as the catcher.
That's Austin Munguia, the graduate from Round Rock, former Round Rock Dragon, and New Mexico transfer, the pinch runner. Now at first. So Mora, the senior from Tomball, Texas, 213 career hits, 35 career home runs. 45 doubles, 163 RBIs. The home runs and RBI second in Texas State history. He's at the plate with one out. Strike call. Second and extra base hits. Tied for fifth with doubles. And again, those 213 hits, ranked 8th in Bobcat history.
He has left his mark at Texas State baseball.
Check swing, appeal to first, no swing, says Doug Williams.
Well, he's got a little bit of a cat-mouse game going now. Munguia can run. Matter of fact, he stole second base when they won the third game against Louisiana. That time, Carlson went to a slide step instead of the higher leg kick. And he likes getting that knee up. The pitch before that one, he slide step, which means you don't pick your knee up as high to protect against the runner at first stealing. But to throw that big breaker, he needs to get that knee up to get to the top of the baseball.
Call strike 3. 2 outs.
I think he just caught Mora looking for that big breaker we were just talking about as well. Of a surprise attack with his fastball. A little bit of a cut to the bottom of it at 91.
Now Brady Bowles.
Yeah,
I'd rather we'll see a pinch hitter.
Pinch hitter.
Bennett Fryman about to step to the plate. Munguia, the runner at first for Clayton Namkin, who single with one out. Brett Crossland trying to stay loose. Came in the 7th, got back-to-back outs. He's gone an inning and a third. only allowing the single to Namkin 2 batters ago. Here's Bennett Fryman Jr. from Frisco, Texas. 2 for 5 this season with 1 home run, 3 runs batted in. Also a double. His slugging percentage is .1200, but in limited work.
After Texas State now, and Coach Trout, you put him on his own to run. You're down 1 on the road with 2 outs, left-handed hitter. Sometimes it becomes about trying to figure out when he's going to throw a breaker. Helps your chances to get to second base. Texas is thinking the same thing too.
Fryman played at Blinn College in Brenham, Texas last season. Hit .385, 12 home runs, 12 doubles, 58 runs batted in. Oh, and 1 the count.
He did 1 year at Blinn College and loved it. What an unreal place it is. Dusty Hart, the head coach, winning their first national championship a year or 2 ago, and it is a baseball town now, let me tell you, in Brenham, Texas.
Baseball and Bluebell.
It's not a bad combination.
No.
Let me just tell you, just from personal perspective, I don't want to speak for the rest of the world, but I will certainly speak for myself on it.
Take a player to Bluebell on their recruiting trip and help you snag them.
Well, when I moved there, I was convinced that they did all the testing in Brenham. Like, they would just put out all these new flavors. And this is a fun cat and mouse game right now between Munguia at first base, being able to be, he's a good runner.
One and two.
Now you might see Crossing just go right to the regular leg kick, knowing that he's one strike away, one pitch away from getting out of it. The flip side of that is Texas State thinking, hey, he may go to that big breaker. Now may be the time to try to steal.
Got him. Brett Crossland, back-to-back strikeouts to end the top of the eighth. And the Longhorns remain up 9-8.
Tell you what, you're going to get a look at this big, tall frame. He comes from the top of it. Fastball at 97 miles an hour. He comes up with a big strikeout. And the
couple of times. A couple of home runs by Texas, 3 by Texas State. Offense has been on display. 9-8 Texas as we head to the bottom of the eighth. 17 combined runs, 21 combined hits, and 5 homers between these two foes.
Yeah, it's been a lot of offense with the 17 runs. You can see the 21 hits, and this young man right here has helped lead the way, Ethan Mendoza. Double first time up down the line, and to me, this is the one that was so impressive. The second baseman dives for it, and it ends up being an RBI double. Duplantier scoring all the way from first base. And when Mendoza's lined up, man, he can do just that. He hook one down the line. Next step back, you think you're going to do something different. He just lines one to right center.
He was in an 0 for 16 slump, but in the last 5 games, hitting .350, 5 of the 7 hits for extra bases, and 5 runs scored, including 2 tonight.
Just a grinder. You don't give in. I mean, look, baseball's built around failure and how many times you get out. And some people can handle it better than others, but he just keeps grinding.
New pitcher is the Texas State closer, Wade Cooper, true freshman from Del Rio, Texas.
Yeah, I mean, why not? One-run game, it's real stuff. I mean, it's a 90-mile-an-hour, 89, 90-mile-an-hour cutter, 95, 96-mile-an-hour fastball with a bigger breaker he'll throw behind that cutter. You can see the numbers right there and how good the numbers are.
Saw the 3-0 record, 4 saves as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's moment historically doesn't bother him. Another freshman. He may not physically look like it, but he is. I mean, he's much like Cozart. They're big dudes out there on the mound.
Austin Munguia, after pinch running for Namkin, remains in at catcher. 0-2 the count to Mendoza, who's reached his last 3 times up. Also new second baseman in for Texas State, Justin Vassos. Texas A&M transfer and junior from Missouri City, Texas in the Houston area. In for Bowles. Texas did not lead until a 6-run sixth put him up 9-5. Bobcats responded with 3 in the top of the 7th. That's where we stand right now, 9-8.
You didn't think it was going to be any different than this, did you? I mean, back and forth.
59th meeting between these 2 teams, located just 40 miles apart. Lifted to left center. Ethan Mendoza has a Texas round tripper.
Ethan Mendoza just lands all over this to right center. This ball's got to be hit a long ways into that gap, in the left center gap. And he gets every lace of this baseball. He crushes it out of here. We were just talking about the kind of night he's had. He went pull side double down the line, then he shoots a double the other way. And he hangs in there long enough on this breaker, hits it out to left center, just in to the Yeti yard.
Just the 2nd home run allowed by Cooper in 17 1/3 innings. It went 406 feet, and Mendoza, with his 6th home run, has more home runs this year than all of 2025. 10-8 Texas. 1-0 the count to the catcher, Carson Tinney.
Well, he made it a point he was going to get bigger, faster, stronger, and he did. In the offseason, all summer long, all fall long, changed his diet, changed his attitude about what he wanted to become physically, and he's seeing the end result of it with the power numbers.
.114 at-bats to get to those 6 homers after 5 all of last season. This is his 4th 3-hit game of the year. Took something off, 1-2. Tinney drove in one of the 6 runs in the 6th for the Longhorns. We talked about how fun of a series this has been, especially the last few years. The series took a little time off, and then you and the great Augie Garrido brought it back.
Yeah, yes. And it became a 2-game series here in Austin. And then when Texas State we built a new stadium in '09. It wasn't going to be done the beginning of March, and I called Augie and asked him if he would come down to San Marcos and open up the stadium, and he was gracious enough to do it. And look, there's a lot of different ways to look at things. They didn't have to come down there, but it was an opportunity for. He knew how important it was for us and for me to come down there, and he did. And then it became like they took a year off, and then they came back the next year, and then Coach Pierce kept it alive coming down to San Marcos. It's a big game in San Marcos. It is. It means a lot there on campus and in the town, and I was always grateful when they came down there. And it's turned out to be a fun Tuesday traditional games. It has.
I think it's really cool how you see it a lot around college baseball, how teams like Texas continue to do that. Of course, they went to Houston last week, and then to Texas State. Texas A&M and Baylor also going to Texas State this season. Don't see that in basketball or football, that's for sure. Tenney strikes out. Texas State first football game as a Pac-12 member is here at Texas. There will not be a return trip. Here's Ethan Mendoza's 6th homer, a career high.
Yeah, Cooper hung at breaker on the inner half of the plate, David, and he was probably sitting in there looking for something secondary. Stayed on it long enough, showing off his strength and his power with that solo blast.
Now Robbins, the first of the 3 Texas homers, coming off his bat in the first to cut the Texas State lead to 3-2.
Yeah, that homer he hit early in the game got out of here in a hurry. That was like a line drive, a hooking line drive homer.
Again, I think it's really neat how in baseball the power team still will go on the road to places they don't have to go to. In fact, Stephen Trout told us, he said he's appreciative of Jim Schlossnagle continuing this series and coming to San Marcos.
Well, if you got a place that's got a nice facility, nice playing surface, you're going to play in front of a big crowd. What you don't want to do as a coach going on the road is go on the road where it's going to be not very it's just going to be your team's going to be half asleep. Well, that's not going to happen going 30 miles down the road. I mean, that's a lot of fun. It's loud in there in San Marcos, and then you come back up here too. You know that your opponent's going to be good, so you hope that your team, goes out there and plays as hard as it can. And so, but yeah, to answer your statement, baseball is one of those sports that will do that in.
Robbins goes down swinging. 2 down.
You get another look at the breaker. He doesn't hang this one. He gets after this, gets over the top of it, attacks it. It's hard to get to the middle of that breaker. Look how much that thing broke. That is a tough breaking ball.
So here's Pack, singled in the 6th. One of a number of consecutive hits. I called it the opposite way. It was to the left side of the second base bag. But one of 4 straight, which has been a strength of this Texas team this season, certainly compared to previous years.
Got to start looking ahead to the 9th. They go to Cozart. Who do they, what does that look like?
Pop back and it's 1-1.
Yeah, there he is. Well, it's been some fun looking freshmen in these two games, both sides of these two teams, which makes it exciting about not just, the now, the present, but playing these games forward. You're looking young players.
1-2. Assuming we see Cozart in the 9th, he'd be the 7th Texas pitcher. Brody Walls is in line for the win for the Longhorns. Pitched a hitless 6th before Texas's 6-run bottom of the 6th gave them the lead for the first time.
Well, if it touches, it'll be Coach Schlossnagle's first look at what his defense is going to look like occasionally from here to whenever A-Rod gets back in a 9th inning setting. The 4th inning setting is a little bit different than the 9th inning setting. And what does that defense look like and how do they play?
Pack's been in left field all game, but of course began the season in right. As Texas State solves an equipment issue, a 2-2 count to Pack here with 2 outs in the bottom of the 8th. And tomorrow, Texas will head out to Columbia, South Carolina, 3-game set with the Gamecocks. 6 o'clock first pitches, that's Central Time. Thursday and Friday, 1 o'clock Central on Saturday. Then they'll host Incarnate Word next Tuesday night here in SEC Network Plus. And April 10th, 11th, and 12th, a 3-game set at Texas A&M. Next home SEC series against Red Hot Alabama, winners of 7 straight, April 17th, 18th, and 19th. Packers work the count full.
We're in it to win it now, meaning college baseball. We're there. I mean, every weekend is jam-packed. It's not new anymore. Everybody's got their heels dug in.
Vasos at second. That'll do it in the 8th. Ethan Mendoza's solo shot to begin the inning gives Texas some insurance. Rashawn Galloway and his 21-game hit streak is due up second in the top of the 9th for the Bobcats. Spirit from both these teams today. Rashawn Galloway solo shot in the first. Manny Salas solo home run in the 5th. 2 of the 3 Texas State dingers. And then Texas with some power of their own. Casey Borba solo home run to begin a 6-run 6th. Jaden Duplantier scoring one of those 6 runs. That gave Texas their first lead. And as we head to the top of the 9th with Ty Harrington, I'm David Salzman. 10-8 Longhorns looking to end a losing streak to the Bobcats at home. In fact, the last 9 times these two teams met, the road team won, including Texas State with 4 straight wins here at Disch Falk Field.
Yeah, that's fascinating in itself, but Texas State's going to have a chance with the top of their lineup coming up, and Texas is going to the bullpen to another one of their impressive freshmen. We were just talking about the freshman involved in this game, and Sam Cozart, and it's a 94, 95 mile an hour fastball, slider, a cutter, and then a bigger breaker he'll throw as well. As you see the numbers, he's been pretty stingy with the runs.
Got the win Friday in relief of Luke Harrison with 3 hitless innings. They'll face the top of the order. Jackson Cotton doubled and scored in the 3-run 7th. 0-1 the count.
The 9th inning, I said all the time, is a game within its own cell. I mean, it's its own game within the big game. 9th inning, some crazy things can happen.
Took something off, 0-2.
That's why they pay closers a lot of money, and that's why we don't lay in bed as baseball players and dream about hitting our grand slam in the 5th. We dream about hitting it in the bottom of the 9th.
Jim Schlossnagle said before the season he felt Cozart would love to pitch in big moments, and here he is going for the save. 3-pitch strikeout of Cotton, 1 down.
That's just back-to-back breakers to get it started. Cutter, breaker, and then I'm going to go fastball away. Look at the execution of that 97-mile-an-hour fastball in the outer half of the plate.
And now he faces one of the hottest hitters in all of college baseball in Rashawn Galloway. Extended his hitting streak to 21 tonight with a couple of hits. 42 hits in his last 21 games, including a solo homer in the first and an RBI double in the 7th here. His average is up to 402.
He has been a doubles machine this year with 14. I think if I was a young high school hitter watching this game, I might have to go to grab some of those gloves too and see what it's doing for him. But this is a fun matchup right here.
With the workers' gloves on, Galloway awaits the 1-1. To the opposite way, Pendergrass on the run, makes the grab. Texas 1 out away from ending their 4-year home losing streak to Texas State.
Now Pendergrass gets a great jump on this ball, David. As soon as this ball's hit, it looked like it might have a chance to get down. Galloway doing what he does, hitting the ball the other way. Watch him close in on this. Make the catch.
Now Manny Salas. 3 hits tonight. A home run in the 5th, a double in the 7th.
That's a big breaker. That thing covers so much territory. At 81, 82 miles an hour. Throws a harder cutter as well. And then, oh yeah, by the way, it can be 95 to 97.
To first, Casey Borba steps on the bag himself. Texas defeats Texas State at home for the first time since 2022.
Now, David, we had a back and forth game with both of these offenses all night, and it was going to be a battle of the bullpen from the get-go, with it being a short week for both of these teams, which bullpen was going to perform the best, and then which offense was going to come up with a big inning, and Texas coming up with that 6th spot to go ahead of Texas State. Didn't look back.
2021, the last time Texas had knocked off Texas State here until tonight. 10-8 the final as the Longhorns go to 24-4 overall, 18-2 at home. Well, you played here at Texas, you coached at Texas State. You were a part as a head coach of a lot of these games, and now up in the booth, you saw a great one between 2 hot teams coming in.
Fully expected it when I came to the ballpark, drove to it. I thought it was going to be a great baseball game, and it was. Back and forth, bullpens getting after it. Texas having to make some adjustment defensively. I mean, Texas State showing off why they've been so good offensively over the last 2 weeks, and 2 teams wouldn't be surprised if you see both of these teams this upcoming weekend take off and play really good.
Texas wins its 4th straight, and Texas State's 7-game win streak ends tonight in Austin. Texas 10, Texas State 8, the final. For Ty Harrington, I'm David Salzman saying so long from Disch Falk Field. Be sure to tune in Thursday, 7 Eastern, SEC Network, Texas Game 1 of the 3-game set at South Carolina. To watch this game in its entirety, visit the ESPN app or watch ESPN.com. This has been a presentation of ESPN.